The following podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
Your old Uncle Dynamo at all, what you're going to want to do is turn his fucking volume up for starters, you jabroni. Secondly, you're going to want to go to Indiegogo/project/Survival of the Film Freaks Blu-ray DVD release. I am honored and flattered to be part of this amazing movie. Me, Johnny Wolfenstein, a lot of regulars on the show, but our brother from another mother, Bill by Force, and Kyle, made this incredible documentary about cult cinema in its history and how it affected media in general and how it survives and lives on today. It's great. The Blu-ray and DVD and some great perks drop in May, but pre-order yours now because they're not going to last forever. But in the meantime, on April 12th, in Worcester, Massachusetts, come see Survival of the Film Freaks as part of night one of us, the Deadites' 25th anniversary weekend celebration, night one. It's going to be awesome. But right now, I don't want to hold this awesome interview we have on any longer. And Michael Ravenshadow making a fucking unholy racket at the other side of this door. So I'm going to go before I laugh. So welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
You're listening to Trick or Treat Radio, starring the Deadites.
Welcome to episode 342 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is a phantasmagorical spin kick straight through the heart of pop culture, navigated by the Deadites. The Deadites are the world's greatest electroshock band. We destroy monsters, we drink booze, we win championship belts. And once again, we're kicking things off with an interview. And
love it.
Yeah, so we're going to dive right into things here because I'm really excited about
the format.
Well, it's not really a format.
It is a format. We do the same goddamn thing every single week. I say dumb shit at the beginning, I say dumb shit at the end, and then I get to go home.
Well, it's someone who I'm sure is not going to have much dumb shit to say because I'm really excited to talk to her and find out all about her book, Headcheese. We're now joined by Jess Hageman. I said that right?
Yes, hi.
Yes,
That's
I
right.
did it. I froze for a second. I'm like,
Excellent
wait.
work, yeah. That's a deer in the headlights look I'm not used to
Yeah,
seeing.
I know.
The look on your face was said it all, man.
So we're more than happy to be joined by Jess. So welcome to Trick or Treat Radio, Jess. We appreciate you taking some time to hang out with us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
And I am fascinated to find out some more about what went into Headcheese because I had a chance to I unfortunately didn't get to read the whole book, but I got a chance to peruse it and was kind of reading through. So what I guess before we dive into it, give people sort of the elevator pitch of what the book is about.
Sure. So Headcheese explores amputation as a sexual fetish and also through the lens of body integrity identity disorder. Mm-hmm. And has 26 characters who all have some permutation of the fetish or BIID. We can go into more about what that means, but it really just kind of, some characters are given more screen time, so to say, than others, but they all just kind of contribute to this overall ensemble cast style book that looks at how amputation plays out in the lives of all these different characters.
It's absolutely fascinating, and I have to admit I don't believe in my travels that I've seen anything like this. So
no.
what was the genesis? How did you get the idea to write this book?
Yeah, so with Headcheese, I actually started with a genre. I said, okay, I want to write a psychosexual horror book. That's where I started. And I didn't know what that really looked like yet. And so I went to the internet and Googled fetishes that can kill you. And
there's a good place to start.
Should have just called Monster Zero.
Yeah, I stop on those sites daily.
So there are a lot of them, it turns out, a lot of fetishes that can kill you. But amputation, something about it just grabbed me. And I fell down a Reddit rabbit hole of research and just consumed as much as I could possibly find about this topic, because I had not heard of amputation as a fetish before. And so I had a lot of questions myself, which seemed like the natural starting point for writing a book then, to answer the questions I had initially.
Yeah, of course. So I imagine, I guess, what was it? Was it sort of the imagery? Was it the sort of the body horror elements, or what was it that really you gravitated towards?
So I think for me, it started with the idea that just by virtue of being a female in America who has a lot of body imaging and messaging coming at me all the time, there's certainly things about my body that I don't like or that I wished were different growing up.
Sure.
But never to the extreme of thinking, well, if I just cut that part off,
Right.
then my life would be better. But it was still an entry point for starting to understand how somebody might think about this. And yet I just really wanted to wrap my mind around how somebody could look at their arm or their leg and just think, one, this isn't mine. So in the case of body integrity identity disorder, which is not a sexual fetish, it's a psychological disorder in which somebody believes that a body part that is theirs or is attached to their body is not theirs and shouldn't be there. So to wrap my mind around that, and then also the idea that removing a part could be sexual, and that orgasm could occur for somebody who either was having a limb removed, was engaging in sexual activity with an amputee, if that was their fetish, or was the one performing the amputations. That can be an aspect of the fetish as well.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that it's interesting because obviously, I mean, I don't know if I don't want to speak for these guys. Maybe they've thought about that as a fetish, but like it's not something. I try not to be judgmental, but when you hear about that, it's like that's pretty odd. But like when you're sort of on the outside looking in, it may seem odd, but to some people, it may seem perfectly legitimate.
You just sounded like somebody's grampy, sir. You like
because I'm not judgmental.
Cutting off them limbs is mighty odd.
What are you into that?
You don't know. I got 2-3 extra limbs I don't need.
2, 3. Yeah, but it's not about having extra ones.
Well, I don't have them anymore. Don't judge me. The 90s was a wild and wonderful time.
So was it something... I guess was it more of the visual aspect of it, or is it more of the sort of mental aspect of it that drew you towards it, or was it a kind of a marriage of the two?
So it was definitely visual from the beginning, which you will see in the fact that the book is fully illustrated as well. Yeah. And that was important to me because originally when I was doing the research and starting to write bits and pieces of Headcheese, I was publishing them to my Tumblr blog and asking just for reader feedback on them and for people to engage. And so people were sending me, headlines of news stories where amputation had figured into the storyline in some way, or they were sending images of new prosthetics that were on the market or things like that. And so I had all these other artworks that were becoming part of that Tumblr feed, and I really wanted to preserve that visual imagery in the final book in some way. So Chris Panettiere is an artist in Dallas who did all of the drawings in Headcheese, and they turned out amazing, and I think add a lot to the experience of reading the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the art is great. MZ, you had sort of commented you enjoyed the art.
I'm about maybe 30 pages into the actual novel, because there's a lengthy introduction before we actually get into the novel. So I'm about 30 pages into it right now, and I'm absolutely fascinated with it right now.
That is the biggest endorsement that you could get, because that's 30 more pages than he's read in 45 years.
And
all right.
Wait, he didn't say read. He was looking at the pictures.
There's pictures, so that makes me happy. And I'm thrilled with the illustrations. It's really fascinating, this whole idea behind this story. Now, did you ever what's your outlook on people who find this to be a fetish worth diving into?
Like as if to say,
let's say you were going to dive into this. I know a guy.
Yeah. You knew a 45-year-old man.
Do you
movie butt crack?
Where would he start?
Yeah.
Do you have a Do you have a like a renewed appreciation for people who are into this sort of thing?
I think what my
I love you gotta translate.
what my brother from another mother is trying to say is that is like, do you how was it to not like you said appreciate, but like was there like any air of like how was it to stay like judgment free, I guess, like in this situation, like when you're writing about it and not, because it's crazy, but that's a real, especially the mental disorder is like a real thing.
So in my research, I talked to a lot of people who admitted to having this fetish. I interviewed psychologists who worked with people who either have the fetish or body integrity identity disorder. And I also joined fetish sites directly to have more access to message boards and the community and what they had to say in their own words. And it really became apparent that these people felt lonely and isolated, and they were joining these fetish sites and Reddit conversations and whatever in order to find other people who shared this so they didn't feel so alone. And of course I could relate to being, feeling like alone sometimes. And so that gave me a lot of empathy and sympathy. And then it's always consensual too. Well, I mean, ideally any relationship is consensual. And so, if I came to see amputation as a preference like any other, that as long as all the parties involved wanted to be there and participating in that activity, then more power to them. And there's probably a reason that I hadn't heard about it before, that it is still so underground. And yet I was so fascinated. I wanted other people to be able to learn about this and spark those conversations, and maybe open up conversations that people felt that they hadn't been able to have before, which has happened to me since writing Headcheese. I've been at, book signings or things like that, and people will come up to me afterward and be like, I've never told anybody that I wanted XYZ, but I feel like I can tell you this to you. And so then I kind of like become their confessor for a second, which is really an incredible privilege. And so it's great. No judgment.
that was sort of going to be one of my questions was, what has been the reaction to this from readers? I mean, obviously, I don't know what percentage of people, have body integrity identity disorder or sort of look at this as a fetish, but I'm sure it's not a large percentage of people, but even still, this is something that people are into and or have, and just being able to read about it may be like, hey, like this is sort of some form of acceptance that I've never had before.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why one of you mentioned it, there's kind of a lengthy introduction, and that's where I chose to include some actual quotes from the people that I was interviewing, so that it wasn't just me filtering their experience through my words, but allowing them to speak for themselves also.
Awesome.
And did you use any of those? Well, in your research, did you base any of the characters off of experiences that you read about, or was it purely fictional?
Every single story in there has some kernel of truth. So there might be a character who's an amalgam of 2 or 3 different interviews that I did. And then there's also a lot of purely non-fictional stories that really did happen, like the German cannibal, for example. I don't know if you got to that point in the story, but there are real events throughout history that are also kind of woven in documentary style, so that you understand. I guess I wanted to make it feel more real. And so by grounding it in things that have really happened and not just writing a fictional story, I hope that would lend it a little more credibility too.
Well, that's based on one of MZ's favorite films, The German Cannibal, right?
Yeah. Well, that guy was Russian, right? Was he German?
No. She's talking about the German cannibal, Maywis, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I know that story.
You know it well. How many times have you seen that movie, Cannibal?
How many hands do we have?
Well, depending on what you're into.
Yeah, exactly.
I love you like family, but I will never not be terrified of you.
Thank you.
So and I guess sort of on the flip side, I mean, obviously you've gotten a lot of, sort of positive affirmation from people. How about the opposite? Have you heard from people like what are you doing? Like, have you heard the opposite of that?
It's more been people who hear what it's about and they just immediately cringe.
Yeah.
And because you just picture it happening to your own body. Like
Right.
anybody who has a body can imagine what that would feel like. And so, a lot of people have just been like, well, I'm really proud of you for writing a book, but I will not be reading that particular one.
Which is
So,
understandable, I guess.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Although, I mean, it's kind of debatable. Like I set out to write a psychosexual horror novel, whether I accomplish that, whether it's actually horror. I mean, I think it's body horror, but maybe it's not like ghosts and zombies horror. So, I don't know. I think everybody should give it a shot.
Yeah, and that's the thing is horror isn't, the definition of horror is kind of like a moving target. Like it
Yeah.
could be different for different people, and to some,
Absolutely.
yeah, and to some people, losing a limb, could be perceived as horror, as opposed to the people who fetishize it or even wish they could do that based on the fact that they have body integrity identity disorder. So it does encompass a lot of things, and the people who relate to it can relate to it, and then but for everyone else, like you said, everyone has limbs,
Right.
so it's one of those things that it's inherently horror because
Terrifying.
yeah
Well, it's like how many even to like a lesser degree, who hasn't like slammed their fingers like in like a car door or a door or something like that and had that like one fleeting thought.
Oh
that
my
they-
God,
that
yeah.
they were,
Yeah.
that like that like a hook was what was coming back. So like it's definitely something that in a very broad way is super relatable. Like even though if you like. When you throw the elevator pitch down, which, by the way, the synopsis that Wolfie read last week, we hold the distinction of this week of reviewing the best film title maybe ever later on, and that's probably the best literary synopsis that Wolfie ever read last week. Like, it blew my mind right out the back of my head. So I think when you throw that on the table, you're like, what the fuck is this nice lady on? But like, then, like when you really think about it, it's something that everyone can like kind of,
Yeah.
like everybody has had that moment where they're like, oh, or they got their like, I worked with like machinery at one point or a kind of machinery and like getting your sleeve caught on something and you know what I mean, like it's just like your limbs, I guess for lack of a better way to put it, are something you take for granted until they're in jeopardy. So it's like a like a very, very relatable thing.
Yeah.
The most interesting piece of reader feedback I've gotten so far was from a man who was a lower leg amputee as the result of a trauma, so something that was not voluntary. And he went into the book thinking, how could anybody want the life that I now have, where I
Right.
had to go through all kinds of surgeries and physical therapy and rehab and still has pain from that injury today. He couldn't understand why anybody would wish that upon themselves.
Yeah.
And yet by the time he finished reading the book, he felt like he still would never want that for himself, but he could maybe understand why somebody else would. And so that was like the best compliment I could have received.
Absolutely. Like that
Yeah.
because you basically turned him into, well, I wouldn't say a believer, but I mean you went in thinking like, why would anyone ever want this, into and then you've sort of converted him into thinking like, yeah, I could see why people would want this with the way she presents it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was amazing.
that's super interesting, and that would, I mean, that obviously probably was one of the most sort of cool bits of feedback you've heard, because it is so and that's so personal to him too, because I
Right.
mean, obviously he has this trauma that he's dealt with, and he can't imagine wishing that on anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So you've written the book, and how does like, did you start trying to get it published yourself, or like was Cinestate involved early on? Like, how did the process of getting the book published go?
That was an incredible stroke of luck, actually. So Headcheese is the sixth book that I've written, but the first one that I've published. The other ones have just
Oh.
been sitting on my hard drive.
Yep.
And so I live in Austin, Texas, and I was at the Writers League of Texas Agents and Editors Conference a couple years ago, where they bring in a bunch of New York publishers, representatives to come to the conference, and you spend the weekend pitching your books.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was just volunteering at the conference that weekend, and I just happened to be stationed in the room where a panel was happening that Cinestate was sitting on. And they were describing the kind of books that they were looking for, which was basically things that were weird and off the wall and bordered on horror. And Chris, the illustrator, he had already done the drawings at that point, and he went up to Cinestate on the panel afterward and said, "Hey, there's a girl in the back of the room, Jess. Her book would be perfect for you guys. You need to go talk to her." Mm-hmm. So not only did Chris do incredible justice to the drawings in the book, but he basically is single-handedly responsible for getting it published because he facilitated that introduction then to Will at Cinestate, and they said, "Yeah, send the book." So I sent it, and 6 months later, they called and said, "Let's talk rights," and and the rest was history. So.
Those guys are fucking fearless. I can't believe, I'm so happy that, we live in a world where, I hope they let me write their tagline. Cinestate, we don't give a fuck. It's unbelievable. Even if you go back before you knew it was like an entity and really break down, say, Bone Tomahawk, it's just fearless. It's great. And it's really encouraging because you have this book that may not come out if this entity doesn't exist, right? Or, self-publishing is certainly a thing now that wasn't quite as viable a thing even 5 years ago. But,
right.
That's a real loud and crowded environment there, so
it is.
To have that, backing is pretty, it shows a really exciting paradigm shift in publishing right now.
Yeah, it's been super amazing to experience that. Here in Austin, I am a professional ghostwriter, so I spend most of my time writing other people's books for them. And generally, these are memoirs and family histories that grandpas and grandmas in Austin are writing for their grandkids. And so they are just looking to self-publish. And so I take people through that process and get the book designed and laid out and all of that, and they have the finished book to give out to family and friends. And so being able to be on the other side of that and have a company now working to help me put out this book is, it's just great. It's incredible.
Yeah. Just so you know, Michael Ravenshadow, who wasn't here to introduce himself when you started, was legitimately thought you were writing books for ghosts. Yeah.
No.
He was like, "Oh my Lord, we had a guest this week that was writing all the ghost stories for specters and phantoms. Maybe some of the Draculas." It was completely outrageous.
Maybe a wraith.
Yeah.
I have to say that's probably one of the best titles I've ever heard. Professional ghostwriter.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Oh, thanks.
I've actually, and the funny thing is, I've never even heard of that. There are ghostwriters, but most of the time you assume it's someone who's written books previously, have published and helps out and stuff like that. So it's interesting that you sort of did the reverse and you were a ghostwriter and then got your book published. Right. So
Wolfie, a ghostwriter, is a writer with a flaming skull.
All this imagery.
Yeah.
I have been meaning to get one of those.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, how long have you been a professional ghostwriter?
I started my company 4 years ago.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And obviously, was that your profession for those 4 years?
Yes, that's what I've done full time
awesome.
for 4 years.
That's super cool. Once again, learning something new here. I didn't even know that was a thing. So it's super cool to know that you could make a living at doing that and doing something you love in writing. And if anything, you're kind of working on your chops and getting better and better so that you can get better at your own stuff, I would imagine.
That's exactly it. I really believe that the only way to get better at writing is to do it more and more and more. And, through the ghostwriting, like I said, I'm generally writing memoirs. And so those are first person. And so I might be working with an 80-year-old man and I'm writing in his voice about his experiences, a world that's totally foreign from my own. Practicing that skill for the past 4 years, I think is what allowed me to write Headcheese with its 26 different characters and try to keep their motivations and experiences and perspectives distinct.
Yeah, and that's an interesting way to sort of get that experience too, is you're writing, through other people's voices. And once again, that's just only going to help your own writing as well.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now, and excuse me if it's explained from reading the book, but I haven't finished the book. So where did the title Headcheese come from?
Great question. So it's kind of an homage to a couple different things. Mm-hmm. First off, Headcheese is a food. Yep. It's made from pork. You boil a pig's head and separate the meat, and it's set with gelatin, and you slice it and eat it on a sandwich or something. Or that's what they tell me. I have not actually worked up the guts to try it. So it is a food, and that's why, of course, we have the decapitated pig's head on the cover.
Yep.
But also that's an allusion to the opening scene of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, in which the characters are in their van driving down the highway. They stop and pick up the hitchhiker on the side of the road, and he's just come from the meat processing factory, and he talks about the process of making head cheese.
Right. Correct me if I'm right, but that was like a script.
Correct me if I'm right.
Yeah. Well, sorry, I'm just programmed from this show, like you guys telling me I'm wrong and then going home and finding out I'm right. So I misspoke, but and I'm generally right. But correct me if I'm wrong. That was at one point a working script for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Did I dream
the working
that?
Title?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Now that you mention that, like it totally didn't even occur to me. I was just thinking in terms of your story. So that is interesting, and it's certainly, knowing that creates an even sort of more vivid, idea of what is going on.
Yeah, so I mentioned wanting to couch these fictional character stories within like real events that had happened, but also pop culture references that the reader might understand. And so Headcheese mentions several horror movies through the ages that amputation has played a theme in or a role in. And of course, Texas Chainsaw is involuntary amputation. So kind of the opposite of what I was hoping to espouse, but still a nod to that great classic movie.
Absolutely. And was that, I mean, obviously the film is one of the, probably one of the most well-known horror films ever, but is there any connection to the fact that you're from Texas that you sort of wanted that, or is it just the imagery involved in the movie?
Wow. I mean, definitely the imagery had a lasting impact on me from the time that I saw it. I think there's also something about, I don't remember which installment of that series, because there have been so many Chainsaw movies since then this was in, or if it was the original, but Leatherface was like keeping the skins of his victims, right, and sewing them into kind of a costume that he was wearing. Was that, yeah. So that idea of collecting skins as the stories of people was another kind of idea that was behind everything that I was writing in Headcheese. So people have these limbs and they don't want them, and what happens to the limbs afterwards, and what are their lives like afterwards. And so yeah, just exploring all of that.
It gave me an idea for you to create a flesh-bound version of the book.
Nice.
Right? Oh man, I'll work on that.
Collector's edition.
Yeah.
I think Aries is having some sort of a
do we find something that Aries doesn't like?
No.
No.
I was going to sneeze, so I turned away from the mic.
Oh, sorry. Keep in mind what that
Forgive
looked
me
like
for trying
here.
to be a little polite.
You took your headphones off. I didn't think you wanted to hear it.
They don't reach that far. I got a short cord.
Yeah, I've heard that.
The Irish cord.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Do you want to get rid of it? Jessica, maybe give me some tips.
names.
Cut it off.
Yeah, you managed to well, that's very broad. broad fly swatter there, little Taylor, at the other end. You managed to get a whole side of the table with one mean joke. Yeah, no, it looked like Ares was legitimately finally like having an elderly breakdown here. Like he just all of a sudden like wandered away from the table and started staring at a wall.
Over here,
So I was concerned. Yeah.
Oh, come here.
But next time I'll just sneeze right into the mic.
Yeah.
You guys remember how loud I sneeze, right?
Yeah, no. No, I understand why you did it, but it doesn't make the instance like we're having a nice conversation here and you just like wandered away like
I wandered away. I turned around.
Yeah.
I'm still in the room.
you're like those elderly people that drove in the cliff in that bad 90s song.
He was in the corner like a Blair Witch.
It's totally true. Yeah. It was like he was looking for one of those ghosts you write for.
Yeah.
We're sorry, Jess.
Not at all.
Yeah, this is what happens.
So, and you probably can't. If there is anything to my next question, you probably can't even talk about it. But has there been any discussion of turning Headcheese into a film? Is that anything that you're privy to yet, or can even speak
Well,
about?
as you know, Cinestate does have their movie production arm,
Mhm.
and so that would be incredible. I hear that it depends on how well book sales do.
Oh.
So I would encourage anyone listening to this to go support so that we can bring it to the big screen. That would be awesome.
And that's a good opportunity to let people know that it is available now. You can get it, pretty much wherever books are sold, but you can definitely get it on Amazon. Is there a preferred place for people to purchase it?
I have a soft spot because I'm a small business owner for other small business owners.
Yeah.
So if they have an indie bookstore in your hometown, definitely go and ask them to order it. They should be able to get you a copy, no problem. That would be great. But, if you have a lot of Amazon gift cards sitting around, then by all means, you can get it on Amazon, through Barnes & Noble, and yeah, pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, pretty much wherever books are sold. So,
Yeah.
obviously out there, this is when you hear the synopsis of it, it sort of causes you to pause a moment and be like, is this something I would read? And I imagine that alone is going to intrigue people. And, I think that, once again, we talked about what horror is. And a lot of times, you want, it's that thing where you cover your eyes and you don't want to look at the screen,
Right.
but you're drawn to it. And to me, just, in what I've seen of the book and also in just speaking with you, it is this sort of like really interesting, like need to want to read more. And I know obviously MZ
Right.
had read, 30 or so pages. And,
Yeah.
I know as we mentioned that's a pretty Herculean task to get him
Right.
to read.
Well,
so.
in a short time too, because not for nothing, but he was on death's door a little while
Last
ago,
week.
so he didn't have a lot of time to,
Yeah.
to even make that happen. So it's really impressive. It's really exciting too because with apologies to any major studio that might have a stranglehold on contemporary horror and cinema right now, horror is really pretty right now, right? It's very handsome. Like it's
Yeah.
like it's back. We're almost back to the Scream era of as Rob Zombie put it, like episode of Dawson Creek where somebody gets stabbed. Except now they get possessed by a demon. But so it's real good to. It's very exciting to have somebody just saying like I'm gonna make an ugly, scary subject and bring it into the light and put people on it.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. I'm upset that my schedule didn't allow me to dig into it because I was super excited about it, and I am still super excited to read it, and I can't wait. So.
Oh, thank you so much.
And obviously you may not have a say if it does get optioned for a film, but do you see this playing out as a cinematic story where you get to sort of follow all 26 characters, or do you think it would be better served to follow, a lesser number of them, maybe one or a few of them?
I think if the movie version were made, we would have to rein in
Yeah.
the number of character stories who were told. But that said, my background is in screenwriting. And so I think when I was writing this, you might notice that there are no chapter breaks, for example, or there's no structure to the book of what you think of with a traditional novel. And so you just kind of turn the page and you drop in on a new scene in a different character's life. And sometimes there's not even any other context than that. You get one paragraph about that character, and then we move on to the next character. And so I was, I guess, writing it as I was seeing those scenes play out in my mind, like playing them as if they were a movie. The one thing, if I get to have any say in the movie version, I would really like it to be shot in rotoscope.
Nice.
Yes.
Because I think that would like preserve the beauty that you're talking about of the body horror at the same time about just like reducing, not to say that gore is reductionistic, but that I wanted that kind of like elevated literary feel to it as well at the same time. Yeah.
Now, before you go here, I have a question, and I think that I'm probably speaking on behalf of some of our listeners. As someone who is trying to transition from doing the type of writing I've done my whole life to writing like a short story, which seems like, even more so after trying to do it like an Alien and Arcane art. What would be some advice for you for somebody starting out? Like, this is, you've got some books under your belt. This is obviously the first one that's been published, but it doesn't, reduce the fact that you wrote those other ones. What would you say for somebody who is looking to, just try it, get their feet wet?
I would say two things. First, I would borrow a page from my favorite Czech surrealist filmmaker, Jan Švankmajer, who says that you have to make movies and or write books that explore your obsessions. You have to be like absolutely obsessed with what you're writing about so you don't get bored of it, or, the project doesn't lose steam. You don't lose your momentum for working on it. And that's going to also make the story interesting to your readers because that passion and enthusiasm for the topic will come through. So write what you're obsessed about. And secondly, I don't believe in writer's block. I think that if you get stuck and you don't know what to write next, you just don't know enough about the topic. And so it's always good to start with what you know, but then supplement that with research on whatever else you need to flesh out the story into something that feels real. So believe it or not, Laurie's character is one of the main characters in Headcheese. On the very opening page, she accidentally slices off her toe. And that is the beginning of her awakening that she has a sexual fetish for amputation. That experience happened to me. I accidentally cut off my toe when I was 13. And so it was not a sexual experience for me, but I was able to draw on that experience when creating the defining moment for her character and where her story opens. So start there and then do all the research to fill in the rest of the story.
So that is interesting because, obviously it's something that you have experienced then to a degree. So was it interesting to sort of learn more about this being a fetish or the fact that other people, kind of want this? Is that something that was hard for you to relate to because of your experience?
My experience of cutting off my toe is funny to me in retrospect because I was up in my room when it happened and I accidentally stepped down on something sharp that just like sliced through my pinky, and it was like still hanging, but it was not good. There's blood everywhere.
You could see the look at everyone's face.
And so my mom is downstairs, right? And she's cooking dinner and she has the fan on above the stove. And so I'm like screaming for her and she doesn't hear me for a while. Oh. And then she finally does, and she runs upstairs, and she's a nurse. Yep. So she didn't panic. She just scooped me up and took me to the bathtub and ran it underwater. And she was like, well, that's going to need stitches, but dinner's ready. So let's go eat first.
Wow.
Now, did you look at one point in your trauma here and say like, here is the rest of my body and here is my toe, and they're not in the proximity they ought to be?
No, you don't look at it. You just clamp on to that area and just Like it's like a shock moment, or it was for me.
Yeah. I can't. I don't. I was excited to read your book a few minutes ago, but now really getting down to brass tacks here. I'm not positive that. Could you write a book about zombies and ghosts?
Let me see if I can bring Mars back into this.
What?
What was for dinner that night?
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bring food back in, Mars is in, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Fair. That's
I don't
really
think I
mean,
tasted
Aries. What was for
anything
dinner?
we ate.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
we tasted it. I didn't taste anything we ate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh man. That's brutal.
Yeah, I mean, if you've ever had a deep cut anywhere, it just like kind of starts throbbing
Yeah.
really bad. And so it's just, and you think that's the worst pain. And then you go to the hospital and they give you the lidocaine
The
shot, or
yeah.
Right.
that's the worst pain then. So, yeah, fun times.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know.
You just stop the room. We're all like, oh god.
Yeah, it's not.
We're hardened like horror fans, and that just like
Yeah.
One
that
thing
just
that it's
killed
in a
us
book,
all.
man. But when you hear about it
In real
happening
life?
live to somebody,
Yeah.
oof,
Yeah, it's not.
that's rough.
Yeah. It's and just to be clear, have we broached what was for dinner?
She didn't know. She
Oh,
didn't
sorry.
remember.
Now I'm hungry.
She was kind of worried about other things.
I've gone full circle.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So, what's next, Jess? Have you begun writing another book? What are you working on now?
I have started writing another book. I'm always working on something. This one is, I didn't think it was going to be so dark, but it's taking a dark turn. So that must just be my thing now.
Yeah.
But it's a modern day retelling of Marie Antoinette's reign as the Queen of France, set in modern day Austin. So the protagonist, Mary Tony, still gets married off at 13 and beheaded in her 30s. But it's creating the circumstances under which that would happen in 2019.
Gotcha.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
that one's going to be fun for the whole family too. Then.
absolutely.
Sold, by the way. I'm not.
Mars, someone lose a head in that.
Very good. Well,
Comes right off.
You have talked about cutting your own head
yeah.
off, Mars.
Well, it seemed like a viable weight loss plan at the time, but I'm okay with heads getting cut off. It's like I have just a weird.
But a baby toe.
Yeah,
no.
no. I mean, it's probably because I have such weird feet, but I have a weird I don't know. I'm afraid if I step on a tack, it'd be better if somebody just shot me at point blank. Because if I step on a tack, I cry. I start talking about God, I find religion, it's not good. I call an ambulance, it's not I can't handle feet things. It's bad.
That's awesome. Although if you are looking to get rid of your head, they're gearing up for the first human head transplant later this year.
Because I feel like that's the only thing holding me back from stardom.
Where's Ray Milland and Rosie Greer and all?
Yeah, I
this?
know it's true. Yeah, it's not good. Imagine if we put my Aries head on my body.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
He would be mad about that.
To be fair, he's perpetually mad. So
It's true.
imagine if imagine if I put my head on Aries' body and Aries kept his head like the Rosie Graham movie.
Oh Jesus.
Now that's a reality show right there.
That's a nightmare.
I know.
The Maz with two heads.
All right. Well, we've kept Jess long enough, and is there anything else, Jesse, you would like to go ahead and talk about or promote or anything else?
Well, the book did just come out in December, so I'm still in the process of kind of touring around and giving readings. So I'd love for people to head over to jessicahageman.com, and that's where any upcoming events will be listed,
Nice.
and maybe I'll be coming to a city near you. So.
Nice. Are you staying mostly in the South, or are you going just wherever you can?
Kind of a little bit all over the place.
Nice.
I'll be in Chicago toward the end of May, in Seattle later this year as well. So hopefully make it out to the East Coast at some point also.
Yeah, absolutely. If you make it out to the Boston area, certainly let us know, or we'll keep tabs on you.
I'm sure.
We'd love
Yeah.
to-
I don't know that that's saying keep tabs on somebody is what you should say in 2008. Don't worry, we'll know.
What would you
It's
say?
okay. Everybody's always watching us now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure what I would say, but Monster Zero's on this show, so we just have to be careful what we say.
So I'm looking at your website right now. You can see some upcoming events right there, and there's obviously the link to the book. And we're gonna go ahead and post the link as well on the show notes, and then also on our Amazon store. So if you guys, anyone out there is interested in purchasing Headcheese, we recommend that you do, because this is you're not gonna. You probably haven't read anything like this, and you probably won't read anything like this.
One
for
of
a
our
long
listeners
time.
just bought the book.
Nice.
They just texted me. So.
Just text you.
Yeah.
So hopefully a lot of people check this out. It is an original piece from what I've seen, and I'm really excited to read the rest. And I know MZ is.
I'm digging it.
You gonna give us a review, MZ, when you finish it?
I'm
I'm
digging it so
excited,
far.
yeah.
I'm digging it.
And that's the highest recommendation. If he's digging your book, then that's the highest recommendation.
I really am. Anything
Awesome.
that breaks anything that crosses over that line and breaks a taboo.
Yeah.
You know,
Your jam.
and you know me, man. I'm all in on that shit.
Right.
And that,
As a point of reference, this guy wrote an article once and he couldn't finish it. Like once it was done,
Okay.
he couldn't read his own article. He was like, what did I have so much to say for?
you know, and it pushes that boundary and it breaks through that wall of just trying to play it safe, you know. And I really enjoy that. And what I really is the fact that, I mean, so far I haven't come across any, but so far I haven't come across any curse words. And I think that's pretty
Speaking
smart
of
because-
80-year-olds, curse
No,
words.
we settle down.
I don't
settle
like the
down.
cussing.
Oh, Christ. See,
Leave
Jess,
alone.
I don't like the
you
language.
see, Jess, everything's got to be a joke with these guys. I'm
Leave
trying to say something,
Does
I'm
she
trying
write
to say
blue?
something.
I don't like that.
Go ahead.
and no, because it's the story itself is pushing the interest. You know, it's not trying to dummy it up with a bunch of swear words. You know, like Rob Zombie fucking wrote it. You know,
Wow.
it's.
I love that
they're
you
playing
swore
it
for
safe.
emphasis.
You realize fuck is a cuss word, right?
No,
if
but
only
I
our guests
that's
knew
smart.
the
It's-
irony
it's
here of
smart
Monster
writing.
Zero
It's-
rallying against profanity.
it's smart writing. It's keeping attention onto the story and not trying to dummy it up with a bunch of curse words. You know, and I think that's smart writing.
Yeah, I am like literally like jacked up by how jacked up you are right now. I'm like very excited because normally I feel like you're like every once in a while during the show I normally have to put a mirror up near your mouth to make sure you're still breathing. But like now, like this is exciting. You're still alive.
You two need some
Well,
alone
thank
time?
you for that.
Yeah.
Fair warning that there are curse words.
Oh,
Okay.
I just shattered it all.
No, I haven't come across it yet. But that's
He just threw his
Okay.
laptop right out the window. He's like, I'm going to read The House of a Thousand Corpses.
the topic has me totally zoned in.
He's going to start doing his own research after reading it.
Yeah, let me know what you find. I'd be interested.
Okay.
So if you and also looking at Jess's site, there's lots of reviews about the book as well, so you can check out if you guys are on the fence. But you know what, like at least like Jess said, go support your local bookshop. But if money is an issue and you just want to order it online, it's $13.12 for the paperback on Amazon, or you can get the Kindle version for $10. So there's
That's a steal.
yeah, absolutely. For a novel, for a full book, like you can't really go wrong there. So if this even is slightly interesting to you, or if you're grossed out and you want to find out more, by all means, go ahead and check out the book, and you can get it. Like I said, if you just want to get it on Amazon, it's easy to do that, or go check your local shop and check out Headcheese.
And I've got to buy, and Cinestate hasn't put out that many books yet, so like this is a good collection to start.
Yeah.
So get like weird Pokemon. Gotta get them all.
Weird Pokemon.
Yeah. So sorry, I couldn't think of anything.
Gotta catch them all. Is
I was
that
trying to think of something
Gotta
that
cut 'em
like,
off.
was from this, from at least this like 35 years, and not a reference like I would have made, like
like your
I don't
grappy
know,
would have
like,
made?
Yeah, like Pogs. Get them all like Pogs.
Pokemon is
Yeah.
like late
Yeah, whatever.
mid '90s.
In my day
It's
job,
still relevant, but-
in my day job, I sell fucking Pokemon. Like it's like you get a tax refund for buying it. So like, don't tell me the Pokemon's viability. People love them Pikachu's and those Charmanders and like
Snorlax.
right? Snuffleupagus.
All right. Well, I don't think Jess needs to hear all the fucking Pokemon.
Just a Charmander.
Yeah, Pokemon are great. But for real though, the other Cinestate books are amazing. In the 6 months that I was waiting between, when I sent them the manuscript and they told me they wanted to buy it, I read the other books that they'd put out, and I'm honored to be in company with their other authors. So go check out Robert Ashcroft's and Craig Zoller's Hug Chicken Penny as well.
Yeah, we've been excited about all that stuff. So
Yeah, and we talked to Preston as well. We had him on the show several months ago, and so I mean, there's obviously a great wealth of content out there for whether you're a fan of films, whether you're a fan of the books, and and even Fangoria, like all the stuff that Cinestate's doing. It's really kind of cutting edge for horror fans, and it really pushes the envelope, and that's something that I think has maybe not necessarily been missing, but it's something that there probably hasn't been enough of. So it's really kind of refreshing to see, and and your book is absolutely included in that, and it definitely is pushing the limits, and it's something that is interesting and different, because everyone's so like everyone is saying like there's nothing original out there, like everything's been done before, but I can guarantee you that this probably hasn't been done before. So
nope.
So there you go. There's something new for you. So everyone, go check out Headcheese, Jess's book, and help support, because like she said, if it sells well, if people dig it, then Cinestate may be like, hey, like this did really well. Let's turn this into a film. So, that would obviously be great for Jess and for Cinestate, but it would just be great for art in general, just really pushing the envelope. So it's really awesome. And Jess, if people were to go ahead and follow you on social media, where would they do so?
Yes. So I have a Facebook author page. That's facebook.com/HagemanJess. Or you can search for Jess Hageman author. It'll pop up. And I'm also on Twitter at jhagema1. That's JHAGEMA1.
So yeah, and obviously, like I think all the stuff's on the. I think it's on. Is it on your website as well? I'm looking.
It
at
is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a one-stop. If you guys are unsure where to go, just look up jessicahageman.com, or just search for Headcheese and Jess's name, and it'll come up. So if you guys want to go ahead and purchase the book, follow Jess on social media, check out some of her reviews. So. Yeah, absolutely. So, Jess, it was really a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
And it was great sort of finding out a little bit more about your craft, and also sort of where, what sort of the genesis for the book. It's really interesting, and it's definitely an original piece, and it's really cool that it's out there. So we appreciate you taking some time to join us.
Well, yeah, this was so much fun. Thank you.
Absolutely. And everyone go buy Headcheese now, and we appreciate Jess taking the time, and we'll check in with you again, Jess, if you ever have anything else to promote, or just want to come hang out and talk some amputees or horror or anything like that. You're more than welcome.
That sounds great.
Okay, Jess, take care, and we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
All right. Awesome. Well, it was great having Jess on.
Yeah.
Streaks alive, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're
That
very,
was
you're a very good guest getter.
well, so
Humble pie over there.
What do you want him to say? Yes, I am.
That's what I'd say.
Yeah, fucking A right.
The book is really, really good so far. I strongly suggest if you like that boundary pushed, and just break through that wall of just total taboo.
yeah.
It
It
in
definitely
certain
is taboo.
circles it is, accepted as the norm, and
No.
it makes it a really interesting world,
Right.
and it just goes to show you, it takes different strokes to move the world.
Right.
So
Yes, it does.
definitely
Yeah.
check out this. Definitely check out this book. It's I'm having a blast
And
with it.
don't
so
go
far.
in the bike shop.
And
but-
exactly.
But it's funny that you say that, MZ, because like it's an interesting like step forward too, because my love for Clive Barker is well known and well documented on this show, and a lot of his work is sort of predicated on the following of outsiders and that sort of body modification, and you know what I mean, like the way he felt growing up, and people looking at the indigenous like punk scene, and the growing like fetish clubs and stuff like that. So it's this is taking that metaphor, and that's what I think is so cool about it. I often talk about with my friends and my therapist about my inability to not hide things, to be brave enough to be able to be brave enough to not hide things behind like a wall of bullshit. For me, it's horror movie metaphors. This is taking those very barking concepts and dragging them into the light, but not losing any of, still making a horror story. And that's one thing that has me really excited about it, and really jacked to read it. It's a
and it also has a certain Cronenbergian aspect.
Well, anytime you talk about body horror, really, yeah.
Oh, sure. But while I'm reading this, I'm thinking of two things. I'm thinking of two of his films. I'm thinking of Crash.
Sure.
With James Spader and Holly Hunter, and I'm also thinking of Dead Ringers.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you. And she seems to have, Cronenberg. Cronenberg, for all intent and purposes, especially early in his career, was writing very exploitation fare, but he had a very, I hate the term, but to for lack of a better way to put it, a more elevated view of some of that stuff, and kind of a reliance on his research, and at least the perception of that he sort of really believed what he was selling. So I think that there's that sort of commonality there between this piece and Cronenberg.
Yeah.
So that's a fair comparison for sure.
And I don't know why it didn't occur to me, but Clive Barker, I mean, clearly is something that that comes to mind, and it didn't for me, but yeah, Clive Barker would definitely come to mind when thinking about this.
And also, when in terms of the subject matter that we're talking about here, it also reminds me of my Gene Silver, former porn star Gene Silver.
Right. Yeah.
She's an amputee.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to mention that.
I wanted to, but I wasn't too sure if I should.
I know. I'm glad you waited.
You probably shouldn't have.
No,
So-
I mean, it's
I didn't.
This is a good book, but the porn did it first.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
she had.
Well, I guess it just goes to show you that it fetishizes it, right?
Oh, sure.
Because I mean, and that film is not that film, but her films, I'm sure, are sort of cult classics in a way, right? Because it's such a taboo thing.
Oh yes, Long Gene Silver is an absolute classic, and I require all of our listeners as well as you guys to watch it. I've watched it many times.
Let me borrow your copy.
yeah.
I've watched it many times myself.
I don't think
And
you
you
don't want to borrow his copy.
In
Probably on
very small,
Betamax.
in very small intervals.
Yeah. Jeepers creepers. You're a bad man. I felt like we fucking talked about some smart people stuff tonight, and you just dragged it right through the gutter.
Well, at least you waited for the guests to leave.
Yeah.
What dumb thing did I talk about?
Well, she was.
No, I'm
she,
saying
Oh,
that this
right,
is.
yeah.
she had a regular leg, and she had another leg that was too
boy.
short. It was too short when she was a kid.
That was our hip hop.
And
name.
they tried stretching it, didn't work, so they amputated a portion of the leg.
That's usually not going to make it bigger. I don't know.
Yeah, I would
I'm no scientist.
I would get those shoes like Herman Munster had, and then a pair of flip-flops.
Speaking of fucking shoes, by the way, Raven Shadow, do those fucking steel toe clown shoes that you wear not have a silence button?
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's
We heard you slamming the door
Yeah,
downstairs.
shaking the
Well,
posters.
slamming the door, yes. I didn't hear the shoes.
No, I did hear. Well, I did hear this time. I
These
did
are my
hear.
dress shoes. These
Yeah.
are my nice ones.
You got these little headphones that don't cover your ears. Is your problem?
Well, also I have big fucking Swedish ears too. Like so.
Well, then get big headphones because I didn't hear a
What
damn
are
thing.
Swedish ears?
Like so. So here's the thing.
Furk.
My family,
Mark.
as well documented, is like I guess I'm bad at math, but like pretty much almost predominantly Irish. Like my grandfather and grandmother on my dad's side are both like 100% Irish, and my grandfather on the other side is half 75% Irish and a little bit of Scottish. But my grandmother, who raised me, as some of you probably know, is right off the boat Swedish. And my sister and I don't look like the rest of our family, who are all tall and have light hair and are, like all look like they could be like pro wrestlers and movie stars. We look like we could be like the top of the pops in the Shire. Like we're short and chubby and have big giant ears and huge feet. So it's not good, but that seems to be.
Is your name Bilbo T. Baggins?
No. Could be though. Could be.
How did we get to this?
I don't. He asked why my ears were big. And
I didn't ask why your ears were big.
No, Johnny Wolfenstein.
That's
No
why they were
one-
small.
No one asked you.
That's why they were small.
They're not small. They're big. They're big, giant, huge ears. I look like Dumbo.
Big long
But not as
floppy,
handsome.
big
Yeah.
long floppy ears.
Yeah, I'm not I realized today I tried to cut my beard short and I fucking look like Egghead from the Batman cartoon.
You look better with a shorter beard.
No, this is fucking bad. And I also realized
you don't trust my judgment? Is that what you're saying?
I also realized I cut it so short. You're gonna say that I have a goatee again, and we're gonna go through that fucking fight.
No, you have a
again.
beard.
Yeah, I had the same thing I used to do, and you said I have a
Just a
goatee.
little one.
No.
Your nice
Yeah.
blonde beard.
Mars, your goatee used to be like this long.
Well,
It was like a heavy metal guy.
No, Aries isn't believing that like I'm actually like have dirty blonde hair in real life.
You don't have dirty blonde hair.
I did have dirty blonde hair.
You
brown
did.
hair.
You have
You
brown
don't
hair.
anymore.
You have brown hair.
No, it got pretty dark, but it's like if you look at pictures of me, like even in high school, it was very light. But
You're not in high school anymore.
well, now
You're
it's,
years away from high
now
school.
it's all gray.
I can show you photos of me.
You're closer to
being
death.
blonde.
You're closer to death than you are high school.
I was blonde.
You dyed your hair blonde.
I
no,
did
he
not.
was no. He had blonde. He had the same color blonde hair I have. I've seen pictures of him
Oh,
dressed
look at
like.
Zach
When I
Morris
was
over
a, when
here.
I was
I've seen
a
pictures
wee
of him
tyke,
dressed like
I was
Zach
blonde.
Morris.
You were not.
Yeah,
I was
You were
so.
blonde.
yeah,
When I was a wee tyke, I was blonde.
yeah.
Wow.
I've seen pictures. Yeah.
I don't believe it.
No, I've seen even older, like speaking dressed like Zach Morris in like vacation photos and stuff. Like I've seen pictures of him, and his hair was much. You know what's funny? You say that, but like I remember when I met Aries, and his hair was like longer. I would say that it was leaning towards blonde, like more like a dark.
Blonde.
So I don't know what Raven Shadow's talking about. I would say that he had a dirty blonde hair.
No, no. I've seen photos of you when you dyed your hair.
Not even. No, I never dyed my hair.
Not even.
This is the
one time.
most
Absolutely
bizarre
not.
I mean,
conversation.
you were going through a little phase. That's
No,
all.
I. Honest to God, never
Put the
dyed
racing
my hair.
stripes down the
Really?
side of
I
his
think-
head and
Nope.
everything.
Never dyed my hair. Never
I-
dyed or bleached my hair
I don't know.
because my fucking brother did that and he lost his hair when he was fucking like
Yeah, it's not
22.
good.
I miss your brother. I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
His hair turned orange because he tried to bleach it.
Yeah, thanks for giving
Oh.
me.
What is
That's,
he, Greg
what,
Brady?
That's what happened to me too, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
No, but like,
Obviously.
like
Orange hair.
I was already dyeing my hair or putting a lot of stuff in it to make it be dark for about almost probably 6 or 7 years by the time I met Wolfie, and I wasn't even out of high school that long when I met Wolfie. So, what the hell is he doing?
I'm trying to figure out Facebook. I don't understand.
I found an awesome picture of.
Get Raven Shadow to help you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I found an awesome picture of Aries, like a glamour shot of him posing with his his bass at one point. It was very nice.
Oh no, there could be arguments made. That
Oh.
That's not me.
Speaking of glamour shots, Mars, you and I need to get glamour shots because now
true.
you and I are on IMDb.
It's true.
Oh, what the fuck?
What?
You were in a movie. What do you
the
want?
fuck?
I want to be on IMDb.
This just sums up your like fucking participation prize attitude.
Find
like,
a director, give him
Yeah.
a blowjob, and then you get in a movie and get on IMDb.
Well, I've
Well,
given-
actually, I was going to add you to IMDb, Raven Shadow.
But why? What
Why?
happened?
What did
Yeah,
he
what-
do?
But so I first added me and Mars to Survival of the Film Freaks.
Yeah.
Just because I was the only one that went to the screening on Saturday. Mars has a good reason, but I was the only one that went to the screening.
yeah, actually, you know what? And
And so
sounds
afterward,
like Will is pissed at somebody at this table. I'm not gonna
Will?
say who. Yeah, Will.
Bill.
Will by loss.
Will by
Yeah, pissed at somebody because a lot of people at this table has seen it before.
Oh.
but one guy didn't.
Nope, not even one time.
Well, actually, before we get to that, let me just say in the chat room we have Creepy Girl says, "Hey ho, what I miss?"
What the fuck's transpired?
I'm just gonna throw that down there for
And
you.
then Marion says, "MZ watches amputee porn."
Yes.
And Carlito says, "In very short intervals." Marion says, "Multiple viewings." And Carlito says that everyone should get a copy. And First Time Mike says, "I've seen that movie. MZ isn't wrong about Long Gene Silver." And he says, "Porn was first with a ridiculous amount of things, actually."
Yeah, that broke a lot of boundaries. It's pretty interesting to watch. I'll bring it in. We'll all watch it while we're reviewing the film.
Oh, we'll do live commentary.
Yeah, why not?
Some extra content.
So you were telling me, justifying in your typical way of, dragging Michael Ravenshadow to success, kicking and screaming. You were going to put him on IMDb for
Yeah.
what exactly?
Yes.
Well, I'm actually trying. I was delaying because I was going to play a video, but I
Oh.
remember I don't have the right
Yeah,
attachment for a new
right.
phone, so I need to send it elsewhere.
Because I could have
Actually,
stayed. Because I could have stayed home and not been in all those movies if they were just fucking handing out
Here,
IMDb.
I
Yeah,
can,
right.
send, I can send it to my iPad.
Yeah. Where's my credit?
You're on IMDb.
You're already on IMDb.
I
and
know
you didn't
that.
you asshole.
I know that.
I was proud. I was like that and fucking there being a Deadites Wikipedia page are like the two bucket list things that I, a metric of success.
There's not a Deadites wiki
No.
page?
Deadass UK.
Can't anyone make a Wikipedia page?
Yeah.
It won't let us for some reason. It knows it's
I
us.
type in the Deadites and it says, "Did you mean the deadlines?"
The band's good.
Let me see. Is Trick or Treat Radio is probably not on there.
Yeah, it is.
If anyone is a wiki master,
I know for a few short minutes the Shanghai had invented snowboarding, but before the Wikipedia put the kibosh on that. But.
All right. So before I get into this, let me quickly say what we're doing tonight. So obviously we had already talked to Jess Hageman, and she was awesome. Everyone should go check out her book Headcheese. And we're also going to review the film The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot. We're going to be talking about that in just a little bit. But obviously, we started off with an interview, so we're going to take some time to kind of let things digest a little bit, kind of shoot the shit. We're going to find out how MZ's feeling, all this other stuff.
I was really worried.
But before we get to that, so on Saturday, and Mars had mentioned Survival of the Film Freaks early on in the intro, because they're doing an Indiegogo where you can go ahead and pre-order the Blu-ray or DVD. So you can get all kinds of cool little extras as well. So it's on Indiegogo. Go check it out. Look for Survival of the Film Freaks, starring a whole host of awesome people and myself and Dynamo Mars. Mm-hmm. And so, I went to the Coolidge on Saturday to check it out because I had seen the screening that Bill had at his place for the sort of rap party, I guess, but I haven't seen it in the theater yet. So I really wanted to check that out. And I do love the Coolidge, and it was in the upstairs theater, which I really love. Nice. Last time I was in that theater, I actually saw Maniac from 1981 on 35 millimeter.
Nice.
And then I also stuck around, and there was a showing in that same theater like an hour later of Only God Forgives. So I got to see those back to back, which was pretty fucking awesome. So went to the theater and got to check out Survival of the Film Freaks on the big screen. It was awesome. I actually forgot a lot about it because I was so nervous the first time of my God, when am I going to be on? When am I going to be on? And I asked Bill afterwards. I was like, "Can we reshoot my scenes?" And he said no. So, because I think I'm about 25 pounds lighter and
but you sounded
look
so
better.
smart.
No, I didn't sound smart.
You really did.
No.
I really thought so.
I
one who
think
came
I'm-
on and was like, "I'm gonna steal the movies for 4."
So I think I had one of the. I don't know. I feel like they added me just to be nice because I
No,
don't
you
think
were really.
The only thing I added was the transition to DVD.
Yeah, what did I add?
That was the only thing.
If we're just having fucking Survival of Film Freaks deathmatch right now, I think that you added more than I did. Right?
You talked about some awesome movies.
Well, I did, but here's the thing,
I didn't mention one movie.
fucking Scalata mentioned the movie's the best, so I was just fucking.
Well, he's the fucking king.
I was fucking Kurt and Jerka Scalata.
I gotta say, obviously, Ted Raimi and Chris Gore and all those those dudes are awesome, and even Lloyd Kaufman was really awesome in it. But I got to say, I think my MVP is Steven Scarlatta.
Oh, without a doubt. It's like
Yeah.
unreal. Did I tell you I got in touch with him the other day because I found out that Dune trading cards existed?
No,
And I thought he was going to tell me, like, obviously, dude. But, like, no, he was stoked to see. He didn't know there was such a thing.
Huh. Well, that's amazing. You could
I
kind
know.
of show him something about Dune he didn't know.
Blew my fucking mind apart.
All right, so I have a video. I filmed Bill and Kyle's intro to Survival of the Film Freaks. If you guys want to peep it, I got it right here. I'll play the audio. Here, let me move this so you can see Raven Shadow. All right, so it's only like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, but he said something really nice at the end, so I just want to play it.
For the midnight shows, no? All right. I thought we had a plan. You didn't share it with me. I'm sorry. I had a plan. That's fair. Oh, that's right. My name's Bill Fulkerson. I'm Kyle Cookton. We directed Survival of the Film Freaks. We're super excited to have it as part of the midnight program because being a film about cult films and the whole culture around it and the technology around it, there really is no more perfect place for it to show than here. So we're super excited about it. It's what's the word I want for this?
It could be anything.
I mean, it's awesome.
It's great.
I enjoy it.
Fantastic.
But this is actually one of our final theater screenings because one of the things that we're going to announce tonight is that starting Monday at 10 a.m. We're launching the campaign to pre-order the Blu-rays and the DVDs. So we're doing it on Indiegogo, but the film is done. So it's not one of those Indiegogos where like, hey, give us your money in 4 years, you'll get the movie, maybe. It's done, and we're doing it as the pre-orders for all the DVDs, the Blu-rays. We have some exclusive T-shirts. We have soundtrack on cassette. And yeah, I know, right? Vinyl's too expensive, man. We looked into it. And you also have to wait 26 weeks, apparently.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Cassette tapes, though, man.
Dude was like, yeah, I can turn those for you tomorrow.
Please, please.
So it'll be on Indiegogo. Just search Survival of the Film Freaks. I think it's actually indiegogo.com/Survival of the Film
And if you don't follow our social media, if you dig the flick afterwards, Survival of the Film Freaks on Facebook and at Film Freaks on Twitter and Instagram. We'll post the links on Monday. The disc includes a bunch of special features, extended interviews, unused segments, a little featurette about the making of the original music for Survival of the Film Freaks, some of the promotional stuff, trailers. So it'll be a loaded disc too, which will be really great. We're excited to get it out there. We're excited for all the support that we've had this fall and now into the winter here. And we're really thankful for Coolidge for having us and for you guys for showing up at midnight on a Saturday in February. Very cool. We weren't going to show up, but
I was always planning on being here.
Yeah, all right.
But I think the most important thing to take away from tonight is that Michael Raven Shadow fucking sucks. If you guys enjoy the movie, anyone has questions about anything?
Thank you.
You suck, dude.
Yeah. I don't think that's meant to be funny. He's
Yeah,
pissed.
that's supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
You're out of the will. You're out of the down boys.
You are out of the
down
boys.
No.
Yeah, no, he called me
are.
the next morning
Rescind
and
your
said,
shirt. Bring your shirt back to him.
I
Cut
said,
your-
I went
cut
like
your
this. I
face
went,
out of it.
I am so sorry I couldn't come. Our car got messed up, and I had me and Wolfie had a misunderstanding, so he was already out there by the time I got out of work. Like, wasn't going to go down. Like, I had every intent of coming. And he goes, Maj, you've seen it 2 times. Michael Ravenshadow, former down boy, has seen it no times. He said, and I quote, Michael Ravenshadow is the Monster Zero of the 2Ks.
That's not what he said.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Get Bill on the phone.
No, Bill. I'm gonna text him right now. And
Yeah.
I've been talking.
You don't
to
know
him.
how to text.
I do. I've sent him several messages. I sent him a congratulations. I sent him a text where I couldn't make the Rumble.
Yeah,
and I told him
when
to,
are you going to text him for an apology?
I mean, to be fair, he didn't respond back. But
Because he's angry.
but no, I sent
He
him
blocked you.
No, he fuck did not. Did
Yeah,
really?
he told you not.
No, I said, hey man, unfortunately I won't be able to make attend tonight.
Yeah.
But break a leg, bud. That's so
Oh,
awesome.
he did
to
break
have.
his leg, you
yeah.
son of a bitch.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
And I said, that's so awesome to have you afflict there.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he didn't-
Unfortunately, I can't see it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not
Well,
going to be
I
there.
hear it's very good.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, just so you know.
He says here, out of the down boys for life.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah.
Oh no, you
Yeah.
wrote that.
No, just so you know.
Bill Fulkerson Out of the Down Boys for life.
If he has those Down Boys shirts, I want him to wear one of them with Michael Ravenshadow's face cut out of it.
Yeah.
And he says if he had been to the last one, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Which last one?
And you know he ain't pre-ordering a Blu-ray.
Nope.
And it's 50-50. He shows up to the screening you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Can I
No,
just buy it off him? Can I just give him cash?
No, like
why?
Can I give him?
So here's what he said to me later on.
No.
And he actually told me, he says, you better take a video of our intro because I'm calling that punk out in front of everyone.
So he told me, and I just want you to know how in your corner I am. He told me on the Deadites Trick or Treat Radio Live, Survivor Film Freaks, he's so pissed. He said, in that building, it can either be him or you.
Yes.
So I said, that's fucking uncalled for, Bill, and not nice. But just so you know, Michael Ravenshadow, as a good boss, I'm giving you that Friday night off.
Hey.
So there you go. You only have to come Saturday, and that'll cost $20.
Dude, you only have yourself to blame
Right.
for all this. You've had multiple chances to see this.
One of them was like not too far from where you live either.
Ever since, what, October or early, or before October, actually.
I think, when did we do the screening? It was like September maybe or something.
All right, September.
I think it was earlier.
So
than
7
that.
months you've had a chance to see this, and you haven't.
Right.
Well, I'm sorry.
I saw it twice.
I'm sorry. Well, fucking.
But here's the thing that me and Bill said: if he was in it, he would have fucking been flying.
You'd
to
be
Las Vegas.
Man. He would have rented a limo.
So-
and he would have.
So it's Bill's fault.
Yeah, Bill,
He would have asked for the red carpet.
Yeah, what are you going to say? Oh, cult films, Babaleo.
Yeah, old shit, new shit.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Right.
No, Kyle responded to me.
Matchul of Omaha says DB license revoked.
Right.
Down Boys, license revoked.
Where the Down Boys go somewhere else.
Matchul of Omaha.
Matchul.
Yeah.
Well, he's commentating. He's doing a play-by-play. What happened?
Yeah, I talked to Matt on the phone tonight. He thinks you're full of shit too.
That isn't very much.
Yeah.
This sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. And like,
I'm sorry, Bill. I love you. You know that.
I don't think he does.
Yeah.
Have you shown it though?
It's a long way.
I sent him a dick pic.
I'll tell you this.
Richard Nixon.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's for sure.
The sexy dicks.
Nightwing.
I'll tell you this. It's a long way to IMDb if you don't even go see movies. Like, be in 'em.
Yeah.
You're gonna see him to be in him. That's fine.
You would have fallen asleep anyways,
It's a
right?
thing. It's a thing. It's a thing. You know what I mean? That's gonna happen. It's a.
Yeah, but you still go and support your friend.
Yeah, I saw it last time at.
You can even sit in the
3
back
o'clock
row
in the afternoon.
and you can get lucky in the back row.
I'm gonna see it in April.
Well, not if Bill has any say.
We don't know.
Are
that
you?
yet.
Are you going
We
to
don't
stick
know
around?
that.
I don't know what time's the screen.
I mean, anything can happen. The store might close, or a store might open early, or something like that.
I'm
I don't
already
know.
waiting for we'll talk about this in a minute. I'm already waiting for one of the people who, because it's the Deadites' 25th anniversary, it to get back to me that Ravenshaw's like, this sucked. It wasn't about Trick or Treat Radio. People kept talking about the Deadites. I'm not in Survival Film Freaks.
Yeah, it'll be a sequel.
Yeah.
You won't be in it.
The original Survival of the Film Freaks.
Yeah, they do a sequel. And you won't be in it.
Match of Omaha says, lies, Raven Shadow's my hero.
Thank
So
you.
there
Thank
go.
you. It's my boy right there.
You're
There you
out of the will.
He says, I got your back, Raven Shadow.
Thank you, baby. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's
Obviously,
not,
you're not holding anything that you need to mail to him.
yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Cornelius, you going to get on this guy or what? Come
And
on.
also, you don't. And also,
Wait. There's been an update.
Really?
Oh, there is.
Corny has his stuff.
Corny has his
What?
No thanks to Raven
No thanks
Shadow.
to Raven Shadow.
I get no thanks at all for that.
Yeah, what did you do?
Why? What
What
happened?
did you do?
What
You
happened?
fucking held on to it for months.
No, I kept it safe. Okay.
You kept it
I kept
safe.
it safe.
It probably smells like smoke.
No.
Corny, does it smell like smoke?
It's in your smoking room.
Is it wet?
Listen.
Was it damp?
Was it
Was
moist?
it sticky?
Listen. I think what I'm trying to say is that Bill's upset and he's having a hard time. Maybe some of the attention's going to his head, but it's okay. I forgive him.
Whoa!
No, he's big time.
It's going
now.
to his head?
No, he's big time now. No, he's he's after
He's
midnight
not-
now.
Dude, he's on stage calling you out in front of everybody. How many people were there?
It was packed.
Yeah?
150. No, I don't know how many. Actually, it wasn't that many, but
Yeah.
Well, whatever the amount was
Yeah.
of people that were in there,
they
all know
They
that
know
you
that Raven
suck.
Shadow's a motherfucker.
Right.
That was the takeaway.
Well, for a couple of years, it's fair.
Jesus.
But no, I think what we're trying to say is that Kyle likes me very much. And who's the other one? Mr. Chris. Mr. Chris likes me.
No, he don't like you
he don't
one
like you
bit.
at all.
Yeah.
Well, someone likes me. If you like me,
Hit me up. Hit me up with the Facebooks.
Yeah, send me a message.
I think I've achieved of
Orgasm?
being the most hated person on the show. I think that mantle has been
you were
switched over
never
to
the
you.
most hated person.
You're not.
At most.
I think
Like-
I'm the most hated.
No.
Because
You're the most hated by
No.
us. but-
You're the most hated amongst the room.
No, we don't hate you. We just tolerate you.
Yeah.
You're fucking perfect.
No, like the reality. I mean, like I'll just go by what one of the Deadites say. I won't say which one, but she's my favorite, and it sounds like Patrix. She said, I know hate Monster Zero. I understand that his brain is broken, and he doesn't. And he doesn't understand.
That's true.
And I said, "What about?" And she said, "The other one." And that was the end of the conversation.
Well, my brain might be broken, but my PayPal sure as hell isn't, and I will be getting this.
And
on
you know how to
Blu-ray.
use
Wait.
PayPal.
You know how to use PayPal?
Of course.
Why am I paying for your fucking
That's
fantasy
what I was
baseball
going to
league?
ask. That's what I was going to ask.
You've had me pay it every year.
Oh, I mean, I forgot how to use it.
That's what I was going to ask you, and I'm like, wait a minute, why is he doing this?
Because I paid it for you like every year for the last 7 years or
You
whatever.
didn't have to.
It's
got
nice that
PayPal,
you
I know how
remember
to do
that he doesn't have to pay for your fantasy football in fucking February, and not now.
Fantasy baseball.
Baseball,
Thank
sorry.
you very much.
We were talking about sports, and I got confused because I didn't know why we were
Sports.
talking
I
about
thought you were
baseball.
just being a nice guy. I didn't know you doing it because you thought I didn't
Well,
know
you've
how
asked me to do it in the past.
Only because I did. Only because I didn't have PayPal at that point.
Well, you're up with the times. Raven Shadow,
yeah.
do you know what PayPal is?
Yeah, I pay a pal to go and, get me some pizza once in a
yeah.
while.
I'm not PayPal.
I pay a pal and I get a...
So help me God, I swear I'm gonna beat you over the head with this thing.
Listen, who needs that? It's fucking cash, dude. Cash money.
Yeah.
No tricks.
You gonna wave cash at a computer?
Hello, computer. Here's my cash. No, what the fuck? Listen. The fuck? I can get hacked. I can get like the fucking Dunkin' Donuts, their rewards card. Their people got fucking in trouble, and they're all fucking hacked. Yeah, it was on the news today. You know the news? This was a fucking top story. But yeah, people get hacked all the time. They hack corporations and companies.
What?
Yeah. Hackers. There's that movie with
Hackers.
yeah,
Hackers.
Angelina Jolie.
Hack-a-sack.
Yeah. Hacky sack. Whatever the fuck. I'll buy a copy.
Speaking of PayPal,
Oh boy.
Aries.
Oh boy.
Yeah, see?
What did I do?
No, you didn't do anything. I have a question for you. You know that doorknob you fixed one time?
He needs to be fixed.
Was there a
again.
timer on it that would play a silly joke that it just locks behind me now, and sometimes it locks me in the house?
Okay, I really just kind of jerry-rigged that.
All right, well, I think that it
You
worked.
need me to
very-
jerry-rig your door again?
I might need a whole new door because the
no,
other day
it's not your door.
the other day I was almost late for work because of how long it took.
Because you
me
couldn't
to-
get out of your house?
No, yeah, it didn't.
You do know there's more than one door.
Yeah, it
to your
didn't
house,
occur
right?
to me for a few minutes that I could go out the back door. Well, the problem is I don't have a key for that door.
You can open it from the inside.
Right, but I can't lock it. 'Cause it's got, yeah.
Mars Matchell of Omaha says, "Love you too, Mars man."
I love you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, big ups to that dude. He had a rough weekend, so I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I
things
meant to
worked out
ask you
well.
about
Yeah,
that today.
yeah.
You
But
talking directly to him?
yeah, man, we'll have to talk about that some more. Like, what a crazy fucking thing. I kind of like. I was like, should I ask about that? Is it okay? We're having a fun conversation. I don't want to bring up like, bad stuff. I like you. You're not on the show. Like, so
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
I was gonna say, but maybe I shouldn't because that's not my place to say what happened. So
I'm glad things worked out.
yeah,
It's crazy things worked out, right? Because that's not the way things go outside of Worcester. So, if you somebody steal your car, it's gone forever.
The other albatross in the room is MZ. How you feeling?
Yeah,
Oh, hey, how you doing?
I was fucking concerned.
Nah,
Oh,
yeah, I'm better.
Rave show. Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
Yeah, are you sick?
Well, because
I didn't even notice.
Well,
MZ has a tummy ache. It's a big deal because that's a big tummy.
Oh,
well, I heard from everybody with the exception of Aries.
See, I texted you.
You did.
Thank
You-
you.
As a matter of fact, you were the
you're
first
lucky
one.
if Aries even nods at you.
What?
So-
Yeah. Well,
What
Not,
am I gonna do?
Not you, but to anyone.
True. No. I'm just It's not.
If you
It's
need
not a
help-
judgment. It's not a judgment
If
call.
you need-
it's
if you
just
need
an
your-
observation.
No,
If
no.
you need
You
a-
need help. You reach out to me. I will do whatever you need.
Yeah,
Right.
but you might be fixing Mars's
No,
whatever.
no.
Yeah.
You need help. You reach out to me. I will do whatever you need. But I'm not gonna be. Oh, you should tell me. Okay. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy.
How's your tummy, MZ?
All right. You need
Want areas to
something?
kiss
I
it
will. I
better?
will be there.
I
I'm
was
not
worried-
gonna ask if you're okay.
What if his tummy needs to be fixed?
Yeah.
You
He's
know
got
what?
a stapler.
I will rub his belly with like some shea oil, some shea butter.
Hey, can we put on some Barry White while we're doing
Oh
this?
yeah, no. If that's what you need, I am there for you. But you got to reach out.
Can I help
I am not
too?
going to be that guy.
There's a lot of belly.
What do you need?
Yeah, you have to. Aries is like a vampire. You have to invite him in.
Yeah, no.
all
Yeah, you
times.
reach out.
Moonlight
I will
Lounge,
do whatever
yeah.
you need. But
Well,
I'm.
He's
that's
like a
it.
Dracula,
Yeah,
right?
well,
Raven
to be-
You
Shadow?
got to reach out.
To be fair, I can invite you in
This
now,
is
but I
as
can't
far as
open
I
the door.
reach.
So
You gotta
Yeah.
come to this
I gotta
hand.
make the effort.
He's
You
like-
gotta come to this hand.
I
he's
could
like
be
tag teaming with Michael Ravenshadow. He gets
Just-
short on
Just
him.
stretching out. There you
I
go.
could be dying, but I gotta make
What
the
do you
effort.
got? There you go. You know.
I'll just say Matthew of Omaha kind of explained it. He says GTA Omaha, baby.
Nice.
So
It's true.
Grand Theft Auto Omaha.
I tried to find you in the hospital, but they'd already sprung you.
Yeah. No. What happened was.
I lied and said I was your brother. What? What do you mean what?
What happened was.
Wait a minute. Wait, what areas?
You're opening a bottle with your mouth.
Well,
Don't say
that's-
what.
I have small.
You don't have the best teeth.
I know I have small, but I also have small childlike hands. So.
Do that again.
Trump hands.
Put the mic down.
Oh, don't do that.
It's all whatever. Hey, I shoveled snow today and then snapped my back, Raven Shadow.
Fucking hurt again. I'll tell you that
Yeah,
much.
no, I bet you.
Yeah,
I said
well,
that.
He was trying to lift a.
Just call Aries.
No.
See?
That's one. This is too far away. I can't. I don't even do my own driveway.
Why?
Why?
Who does your driveway then?
I do it, but I do it on my own time. I can't bring my plow truck.
So you have
I leave my plow truck. I bring my personal truck. No plow.
I think it'd plow
So,
your truck.
FYI, Christmas presents, plow, my truck. Yeah. Just hint.
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter. Indiegogo.
You guys buy me a plow. I will plow everyone's driveway.
How much does the plow cost?
Well, I live in an apartment that gets plowed, so I don't.
Metro of Omaha. You know, plow. I'll make the journey. you know?
Mr. Plow, that's the name. The name again
Is Mr. Plow.
No, so I spend all day plowing, then I come home and I shovel my driveway.
That,
No back issues.
Well, if it's not God of War, I guess. You
You know why? Because I don't try to lift a snowblower
Listen,
upstairs.
It wasn't and I've done it before with the Craftsman. It
I don't
wasn't
care.
It
You
wasn't
don't lift a snowblower upstairs.
Fucking guy. It's a light plastic one.
How light is it?
How light are
not
you?
light enough.
How light is
Well,
it?
I can lift it. I can lift
You
it.
can't lift it.
I had
You
a
can't
brief-
lift it. You hurt your back.
I had a
If
brief-
you hurt
you
your back,
listen.
you can't lift it.
I'm going to fucking Omaha. Fucking, that's it.
Where
You
is
don't even know
Omaha?
where, yeah, you don't know where Omaha is.
What if it's that way?
Right,
What
perfect.
state is it in?
State of siege.
You gotta be goddamn kidding me.
I don't know. Where is it between
I
here and
have a fucking brain obstruction though.
Iowa, right? It's near Iowa, isn't it?
No, perfect. You are the fucking worst.
Where's Omaha?
We need Omaha flashbacks.
Is that a state or is that a city? What's
I fucking quit.
Try to
man.
get him.
I just fucking quit. I give up. You are truly hopeless. You know that? In every sense of the word, you are absolutely 100% unequivocally hopeless.
wow? Good. You sound like my grandmother. Nice. That's good. Nice fucking show.
Wow, that's mean.
I'm fucking pissed at Bill. I'm
Hopeless.
gonna send him something. Fucking.
Hopeless,
I don't know what to say.
hopeless.
So
Didn't we
upset.
watch a movie?
What movie? I'm so
No,
upset.
so, hey, let me tell you what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
All right, so what it is that now I got to go see a gastroenterologist or whatever they
Well,
called.
you had stomach issues.
I had stomach issues. I got to go on June 3rd so I can finally figure out what the hell is going on. I've
June
had this
3rd?
Yeah.
That's fucking 4 months away.
Yeah, I know.
You will not make it.
I might not.
So you can't poop until June?
And I've had this since 1988, and it would appear about once.
You haven't pooped since '88.
Can I tell the story? I've had this since 1988, and it would come around once or twice a year, but for the past 3 years, it hasn't reared its ugly head on me, and I figured I finally defeated it. Okay.
Okay, you keep on saying it.
So,
What is
well,
it?
it could be IBS.
Irritable bowel.
which is irritable bowel syndrome. And what it does, at least this is what they think it is. They don't know yet. But what it does to me is that it has nothing to do with eating anything specific or the amount of it or anything like that. It just comes up. And what it does is that I'll start burping a little bit, and it will have this unbelievably rancid taste. It tastes like rotten oranges. Okay? And it's just vile, and and then I'll start picking up worse and worse, more belching. Then next thing you know, it would be. You ready for this?
No. Buckle up.
Basically, explosive vomiting and explosive diarrhea, and at times at the same time.
Nice.
And
Wait, which hole got the toilet?
Yeah. You're like a filthy finger cuffs.
You'd be well, I would be on the toilet, but my face, which luckily the sink is right in front of me,
in the sink,
right in the sink. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just vile, and it completely wipes you out physically and mentally, because this lasts all day.
Yeah, it's the worst.
In this instance, what was it? This happened on Monday, last Monday. On Tuesday, it started to finally go away around 10 o'clock. I called into work that day. I said I couldn't make it in. And it started to go away around 10 o'clock. Then around 4 o'clock that afternoon, it started in again. And it was getting worse and worse. I woke up Wednesday morning, and my abdominal pain was at critical levels. So we called the ambulance. And yeah, I was taken in an ambulance, and I was just given a few medications, and I'm still having this problem, and it's just not letting go. I mean, with the explosive everything. Picture like at the end of Evil Dead, when all the explosions start coming out of necks and legs and shit. That's basically what it's like.
Did they have to retire that ambulance?
No. Luckily, I didn't do anything in the ambulance. I thought I would for sure.
Get
but
your money's worth. How much does that cost? That's probably like $1,000.
Oh,
Imagine if you just fucking open that ambulance and it just fucking all like a whole thing of shit poured up.
And sometimes if I'm belching, and the belches would be really big belches, and sometimes the taste from the belch would be so vile and so rancid it would force me to vomit.
Yeah, no.
It's the absolute fucking.
I'm so glad
worst.
I'm eating right now.
They
thank you.
How's that hummus?
There is
Actually, it kind of looked like that hummus there.
There's a chance I have that too. They've talked about or Crohn's.
really?
So yeah, but I can't slow down fast enough long enough to get diagnosed with
It's
anything,
the absolute fucking worst. It rips you apart from the inside.
I'm not.
And also,
You're tearing me apart,
Lisa. And also, it's the anxiety of it, because once it hits you, it won't let go.
Yeah.
It will not let go of you, and it stays on you for the whole day, or sometimes even longer, as the last flare up proved. And it's just I can't describe the pain. It's just absolutely gut wrenching. Literally, it's like somebody took a knife and just stabbed you in the gut about 12 times. It's the fucking worst. And it's something I'm gonna have to deal with for the rest of my life, and I wish I didn't, man.
There's medicines and stuff. Once there are ways to at least.
Well,
lessen
if he's
the time
dealing with this since '88. I mean,
but they didn't know. Like, it obviously wasn't diagnosed before, So, like,
well, the first time this happened, all it turned out to be was gas. And so after that, I figured all it is just a simple gas problem, and I just let it go at that. But now it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And I'm getting older and older. So
your insides are junk.
Pretty much, yeah. So right now, I've relegated my diet down. No fruit juices. I can't drink any fruit juices. I can't eat any more really spicy foods, so the Tabasco sauce has to go. but I'm going to Bradish's once that fucking place opens.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, show that belly.
Yeah,
Is
exactly,
it-
right?
Now, is it possible that Jiffy Lube just didn't put the cap down his body?
It would be like moving violations. You go and just jack you up and get
Now-
the oral
Highway,
change.
really?
Yeah,
Really get her in
yeah,
there.
you really get her in there.
Now
How does
we,
that feel? Like shit.
we joke now, but you can ask these guys, MZ. I had seen you in that day, and you like you put on like a very not to make it sound over dramatic, but I would say like brave face. But when you were actually talking about, and these guys will confirm, there's no joke coming. When you were actually talking about like what was going on with you, like I was worried, like because you kind of like were. Like,
Yeah,
it
I
kinda-
was
you seemed
still
little
in a state of
mentally
recovery.
broken. Like yeah.
I was absolutely exhausted. Like I said, this wipes you completely out, you know. And on top of that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, because I was so dehydrated, I lost so much weight.
Oh yeah, you said you lost 13 pounds.
I
right?
lost
that's
13
crazy.
pounds in
Let's see.
3 days.
Let's see. Pull up the shirt.
No.
Take it off. Come on.
It was
Well,
all.
no,
It was probably
no,
water weight, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I can't imagine it being anything else
Yeah.
because everything that exited from
Unless
my
you,
body.
unless you cut off a limb.
Well, I
Shit his
ain't
arm
ready to
off.
do that yet.
Well, he might have dropped the ball. 13 pounds.
Oh yeah.
That's right
It's
in that
true.
ballpark, right?
Yeah.
lose the ball?
Oh,
Yeah.
the ballpark.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it had to be because everything that exited from my body those 3 days
God.
was 100% liquid.
This must be the most. This might be the most disgusting trick or treat radio ever. Talk about amputees, MZ fucking having explosive everything. Matthew of Omaha says the back door of the ambulance opening is like the elevators in The Shining.
I thought of, that
Right.
thought had crossed my mind. Alter the color a little bit.
Yeah, what color was it?
It was weird, the colors.
Oh no. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, maybe we
I
don't
mean,
need
you
to
go
go
from
there.
Thanks, Johnny.
copper to flat out orange.
Oh. Okay.
Well, I pictured orange.
Well, it was
Orange.
it's
I
rotten
picture
oranges, you said. So
Well, that's just the taste.
Asshole.
what?
Idiot.
MZ,
Wait.
I got a question for
Yeah.
you. What if the cure or the solution was to go vegan?
Oh. No more Art Bradish.
Never.
What would you do?
I would try it.
Okay,
Buy more
I would
TB.
try
good
it.
for you.
And if that didn't work, then off the Bradishes I go.
Yeah, they have a vegan selection over there. They got a vegan weed.
They got-
I wouldn't
No,
know.
absolutely
I have
nothing.
no idea.
No.
I
No.
wouldn't think they
They
do.
got,
but
they
I
got
would-
one grill. Everything's cooked on that same grill.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if it was vegan, it would not be when you eat it.
I'll tell you this, Johnny. You know, I don't want to say be proud of me, but he could care less. But I realized that
I care.
when I had a weird. I had to squirrel away a little extra money because we're going away this weekend. My car inexplicably got attacked by a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Because I can't figure out what the fuck else would make those scratches on it. And the person who was driving it at the time doesn't have very many answers. But
Could have been that creature from Safe Haven,
yeah,
right?
could be.
The
Yeah.
devil,
Right.
demon, whatever.
But mommy.
Yeah.
But
It's a demon.
I had to not I couldn't buy a lot of food, and I was kind of just eating what I had and stuff like that. And I didn't realize till I was back on a more shitty 99-cent fast food diet how little meat I eat now. I would say the most meat I eat in a week. Now that I haven't been getting food to bring here, is eggs. I eat a lot of eggs, but I'm not it wasn't a conscious decision or anything like that, but just part of my not wanting to be fat in April. I am going to switch to entirely meat for a couple of weeks, but what?
You don't want to be fat in April.
No.
Don't buy 2 fucking donuts on the ride here.
There's no meat in those.
I am gonna fucking call your ass out and extra large 7 and 7 and 2 donuts.
Well, yeah, no, my coffee's going to stay no matter what. Yeah, no, I wanted a treat today because I had a really bad day.
I don't give a fuck. Don't 2 donuts. Come on.
Hey,
And don't
listen.
do 7 and 7. You can drink coffee. Don't do 7 creams and 7 sugars.
Why? Listen. You know, I don't brag. I'm not one of those people but I was fucking out in the thick of things running last night. So, you know, I've been putting in the fucking time. And I indulged my midlife crisis and did some late night cemetery photography too. So like I'm a fucking man. I'm a Renaissance man.
Bullshit.
What?
Wow. What the fuck, Renaissance man?
I was taking pictures. I'd stopped running. I took some pictures. I was out running.
So you're winded. So you stopped. So you photographed the nearest tombstone.
I'll tell you this. I did know what's good about the air last night. I didn't get winded one time. I didn't get winded until when I stopped and did my driveway.
Then you weren't working hard enough.
No, I think I've plateaued.
No.
Like I think I need to push myself farther. I used
Yes.
to. Yeah. Because for a while I was just running around the circle a bunch of times. Now I run on. No, not that anybody will know this. I live on a circle. Like it's like a horseshoe, but it's
Circle K.
Yeah, it's on the. It's on this street that's like a straight shot all the way down. It's like seems like a giant runway. So I run around the circle once, and then I run down East Street, and then I run around the whole. Except I didn't go up the big hill last night because I thought I would fucking fall and die. But I go around the perimeter of my office, a.k.a. the cemetery, because none more golf. And then I run back up East Street and run around the circle a bunch of times. And then last night, I also did the driveway. So, and then I got winded when it was time to do the driveway because the snow had already got heavy and icy. But, yeah, no, so I don't know. I'm putting in the work. I respect the
If
people.
you're not getting winded, you're not putting in the work.
Well, I've been doing it a lot lately, so I feel like
you need to push yourself harder.
Well, that's the thing. I think last night I realized that I hit a plateau. So what I think I'll do now
the hill
is go down the hill.
You know what? I know what cemetery you run at.
Yeah.
There's a giant hill if you go off cemetery.
Well, no, I always go up that hill because
No.
no.
Not. It's a borderline cliff.
Really? Yeah.
Yes.
No, I'm not doing that. That hill's enough. But yeah. So I've been putting not like Wolfie, not in the same way, but I've been putting in the work. I wanted to try to lose some weight to make me more attractive to my heterosexual life mates, Jake and Coop.
Hit the gym with me, Mars.
What?
I don't know. I'm not good. I'm too weak to lift weights. I got those
not.
small hands. I couldn't do it.
Use the machines.
I don't know. I don't think I'd be good at exercise and spirituality are private things to me. Like I don't like it's not, I don't disrespect anybody that goes to either one of those churches, but it's not for me. I did have a membership for a while to the one down at the bottom of the street, and I could go at 2:00 in the morning and no one was there. But now I just I don't know. I was supposed to get an exercise bike, but my significant other effed me, so not in a good way.
That sucks.
Yeah, what I was going to do, I was going to cheat too. I was going to put the 2 space heaters pointing at it and then ride it every day. Until I fucking sweated off 13 pounds without shitting from throwing up from both ends.
But I do thank Mars.
You don't have to thank me. What are you thanking me for?
Lady friend for showing up.
To
pay me a small visit, brought me a magazine to read.
I almost.
Whoa, what kind of magazine?
Yeah, no. That was a hard choice. I might have caught you. I was. I might have. If I could have picked the magazine I wanted to get you, I might have caught you in the hospital still. But it was a hard choice. I was like, does he subscribe to this? Does he already have that? Like,
I wasn't even admitted.
Really?
Really?
They knew you were there, so they knew you had got sprung.
Yeah.
So
if they had talked to you, they probably would have admitted you to another part of the
Oh,
hospital.
Jesus. That's right. And the day that I left, that day that I left, I was in the waiting room waiting for my mother to pick me up. And I'm sitting in the waiting room, and they have on the TV AMC. And what's playing on AMC at that time of day?
What's that?
Piranha 38 Double D.
That's an American movie classic.
Kind of lowered their standards, huh? The A's, the M's, and the C's.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like,
Wow.
oh shit, I got to get sick more often.
You do realize you can probably watch it at home, right?
Yeah.
He probably doesn't fucking
you know
have
what?
cable in the crazy fucking house with the crazy fucking people that he lives under.
Hey, Mars, Match of Omaha says them cemetery pics did look cool.
Yeah. I got a new filter thing for my phone, and I fucking hated it. And then I ended up just taking pictures. So that picture is that weird lighting is how the cemetery looked. I was glad that it translated. I'm very. I've been told that trying by one of my young customers that trying to learn French and taking up photography is a terrible midlife crisis, but it's the one I'm sticking with. So, but you know, like I give you a hard time, but I love you. Like if you died, I would have much better Wednesdays, but otherwise be very upset. So I was very concerned when Wolfie told me. I was very concerned.
All
I
right, well,
appreciate that.
we got to wrap this up because we got a movie to talk about, and we got some voicemail. We're already like an hour and 45 minutes into the show.
I'm leaving soon, so
You're not leaving soon.
I am. It's fucking weather outside.
The weather's done.
Yeah, it's
Are
done.
you sure?
Yeah,
I don't
it stopped.
believe
It's all done. If there was still weather out there, I'd be out there plowing.
Yeah, it stopped at 9:15. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. All right, so we haven't even taken a break yet. Raven Shadow is
what the
fucking.
fuck?
Oh,
like,
he's fucking
he's
jonesing.
shaking. He's going nuts over here. So
He's mad that he couldn't just fucking hang out his way into IMDb. Wait a minute, you were in a movie?
I was in fucking what's it was?
Yeah. Good job.
Perfect.
yo, Gray, I'm gonna tell Blake.
I'm never putting
Great.
you.
You don't
in
even know.
anything.
Yeah, you don't even know the
Yeah.
name of the movie you were in.
What
Sick.
the fuck?
Sick.
No, I seen the noise. Yes,
There you go.
yes.
There you
and,
go.
And the Brian Pollan joint.
Well, that didn't come out yet.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, but it's gonna be excellent though. Johnny and I are fucking so charismatic.
Once
and
again, man, I wish I could reshoot that. Probably look more intimidating now. You know.
I know.
Probably.
But we didn't have to get messy. about
You
that?
hate getting messy.
Yeah.
And wait. When you have sex, you like jump, like run right to the shower.
No, I bask.
Actually, I don't even want to know. I don't know why. I
I thought
asked.
you want. Don't fucking open that. Don't open that door, John.
Did anybody else think the Bigfoot kind of looked like Michael Ravenshad on this movie? all weird and lanky and dying.
weird looking eyes.
What the fuck?
When Bigfoot died, that's how I imagine Michael Ravenshad finishing.
Oh my god.
And then just laid out like.
One time that happened.
All right.
All right, so let's quickly get through. No intros. You know who we are, or if you don't, I don't know. Go back and listen to another episode, or
Or look at me and Johnny on IMDb.
yeah, or look up me, Mars, or MZ on IMDb.
So we tried to add me. What happened? What happened when you tried to add me?
It
Well,
said, this asshole don't deserve it.
No, hold on. So I did it right after Survival of the Film Freaks. I did it the next day because me and Mars were like, oh, man, we want to get on there. And I just seen the movie, so I went to go add us. And it takes time for them to create your page. So I went to go to Signal the Noise and tried to add us, but we weren't there yet because I hadn't created our pages. So I held off on Signal to Noise. I will go back and do that. And when I do, I can add you.
I feel so
someone else-
bad.
I'm gonna give you a hug, Johnny.
Someone else has to do that for you.
Yeah,
That's
I feel
why I'm
so
Johnny.
bad.
No,
for
no, no, you
fucking
can do
That's
your own. You can
Entertainment.
do
No,
your
no,
own.
he can't do his own.
Yeah,
Oh, I mean, someone else could do their own, but
everyone's
yeah.
gonna be like, "Hey, look, I'm in IMDb."
He's gonna whine that he's not in there, but he wants someone else to do it for him.
I don't.
So that means I'll have 3 credits then.
Yeah.
Raven has 2. Mars has. You have 3 now, Mars, or 4? With seeds, will that be 3 or 4?
We'll have 1, 2, 3, and as of probably, it'll be 4 by the end of the year, depending on what goes on with that Brian Pollan joint.
Yep.
And
So
after,
actually,
if we're
You
not
will
counting
have
Signal to
4
Noise,
by
I'll
the
have
end of the year
4.
too.
I'll have 4.
No, I'll have
If it-
3.
No, you will have if the fucking coals I have in the fire
Oh, I see.
go
I
in
see.
the 4 too.
I see.
And
Yeah.
if Paulin drops those 2 films, I'll have and Signal to Noise, I'll have 6.
Oh,
Big
look
deal,
at
Tom
you!
Brady.
6 times, 6 times, 6 times.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, like after being on one, those pollen shoots are tough. They're fun, but I mean they're tough. I mean, not for Mr. Show up in a fucking suit and not get dirty, but for
No,
Right.
we were adding to the effects. We were hiding
add
the bullet
the
stuff.
effects. Yeah,
Yeah, we
you
were.
were.
Did
You were
you
hiding
get
out in
dirty?
the house.
Rex
You-
and effects
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah,
Yes.
you were hanging out in the house with Papa Blinks
Yeah.
making.
All right, we've gone over that story.
All
No,
right, yeah.
enough. We got
I
to move
know.
on.
Yeah,
I know,
Monster
but I'm
Zero.
just bringing it up.
What was the shoot like for you? I feel like I used you like the fucking meat bag in Rocky for about 45 minutes. Isn't that what happened?
Yeah, as fun as that sounds, I'd rather wear the suit.
Yeah.
It was-
I'm gonna put you in
It's
a
more
movie.
elemental, really, because I can remember it being very cold.
Yeah, it is
Elemental,
cold.
my dear.
Yeah, and you felt it. Yeah, it was very cold. I'll tell you this: I am gonna make a movie one day just to put you in it and see how long you last in it.
Ooh, what kind of movie is it?
Well, I'll tell you this: go get Tiny White on the phone and ask how miserable it is to be in a Dynamo Mars movie. My best friend walked off the set of a film I was making, and didn't talk to me for 6 months.
Sounds appealing.
Yeah, so.
Mind you, every movie he writes me into, he puts me in a tutu.
Right.
Yeah, and you wear it, which is fucking weird.
Carlitos wants to know, will Raven Shadow's IMDb presence be added into his intro?
But yes, it is. I'm glad you asked, Carlito.
No,
Yes,
it won't.
will be.
Nope.
No, it won't.
Who does the intro?
Fuck.
All right, if you guys want to help support the show, head on over to trickortreatradio.com. On there, you're going to scroll down, you're going to see an Amazon logo. Click it. Brings you right to Amazon, puts in our affiliate code. Everything you purchase in that session gets attributed to us. It doesn't cost them any extra, Raven Shadow.
But it helps keep the lights on.
So you shop on Amazon anyways, use our link. Also, if you guys want to help support in other ways, you can go ahead and go to our store, trickortreatradio.com, click on the store. You're going to find some physical goods, some digital goods, Trick or Treat Radio Greatest Hits Volumes 1 through 3. So go ahead and purchase that. And if you guys just want to go ahead and leave us a donation, you can do so. There's a PayPal link on the front page of trickortreatradio.com. Click that, enter any denomination you want. You can also, like our good buddy Corny does, he has a reoccurring payment every month. He gives us a recurring payment. You can set that up if you want. We're still looking into. It's the age-old question: will they or won't they set up a Patreon? And one of these days we'll get around to it.
We should launch it April 13th.
It's something to shoot for, right?
Patreon release party.
Patreon release party. So if you guys want to help support the show, because we have I don't know. Some websites have. Some podcasts have a website. We have the website, and we have the hosting, and we have a whole. And obviously, one of the things that Goro does, I love, is that he his Patreons help pay for his streaming accounts. So that's something. We all have streaming accounts and things like that. So having that stuff paid for is nice, because, and also we have a studio, which a lot of podcasts don't. And there's a lot of overhead here with rent and internet and still the new computer. So if you guys dig what we've been doing for 342 weeks and, have some extra expendable income, or if you don't want to get a coffee tomorrow, or you don't want to get 2 donuts like Mars did, just throw us that pocket change. We'd appreciate it. So, Raven Shadow, yes. You sit down to watch The Man Who Killed Bigfoot. The Man Who Killed Hitler, and then the Bigfoot.
Yes.
You sit down and watch it. I know you've been anticipating this one. You've been waiting. waiting weeks and months and years for this movie. What do you do to prepare?
I was fucking chomping at the bit. But no, I had a really good weekend, Johnny.
No, I hope you did.
I did.
I hope so.
It was nice. I got to Friday. Not only did I have a chance to talk to Evil Corny on the phone like a big boy, I got to hang out with Dr. Joey Tron Friday night.
So I hung out with him all day on Friday.
I know.
Yeah.
You kept him. You're supposed to be over the house at 7. You kept him there till fucking 9:15.
No, he said after 7 he was meeting you. That's what he told me.
Yeah, 7:05. Is after 7.
You weren't ready at 7:05.
I was born ready. I was ready. I bought some beer.
For Tron, he probably was sitting in the window at 7:05.
Yeah.
That was me and Oliver.
Where is he? Where is he?
I was barking. Oliver told me to shut up. But yeah, hung out with Joey Tron. We hadn't
Nice.
hung out since my fucking birthday episode.
Since New Orleans.
Yeah, right. That was nice. So we got a drink on, got a smoke on, and pretty much talked comic nerd shit until about 2 in the morning.
Nice.
By the way, thanks for the invite.
What?
Same, right? Yeah.
What the fuck?
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
You fucking blow off your friends, and then you blow them off the next night.
I blew off.
Yeah,
what?
just a whole lot of blowing this
Yeah,
weekend.
a little
That's
blowing.
what I'm hearing.
Well,
Don't incriminate anyone.
maybe
Jesus
maybe I'll
Christ.
fucking plow my driveway. That's a fucking case. So anyway,
Wow.
what?
Now he gets a free driveway too.
This.
Well, you move closer to Aries, then he will.
Yeah, you should move out of that fucking shitville.
Shit, Bill.
Yeah, you're further away than my house. I can't even plow my own driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you could make an extra stop.
Tiny and I left that place and was hemorrhaging fucking credibility since then. And then you moved in and plugged it up a little, but
Yeah, I got
it's
a
bad.
cool little spot there. On the hill, me and Oliver and the cat. It's nice. So then I had a good Saturday. It was a nice Saturday. I had some company. It was very nice. I don't remember Sunday, but
It was a vacation.
I was thinking, what did I do fucking Sunday? I don't know.
you were tired from going to Survival of the Film Freaks.
No, I did this breakfast Sunday morning. It was nice. It was good. Hung out, watched some movies, and when Monday came, I had to strap on.
Do you love a scary story? Do you love to dance? The Big Scary Monster Hunts at Midnight is a collection of dark songs about sex, love,
I'm Alex West.
And I'm Andrea Subasati, and we're from the Faculty of Horror podcast.
And you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
Oh, delicious nerds. Ms. M knows you like to chat it up with other sexy shut-ins about comics, movies, video games, and your favorite TV shows. If that sounds like you, cuddle up to the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group, or the FIB. That stands for Fan Interaction Board. Just go to Facebook and search for Trick or Treat Radio and have more fun than a Jedi at a lightsaber sale. Not enough? Watch us on YouTube, The Deadites TV, all one word. Last but not least, check out the world's most dangerous talk radio show, Trick or Treat Radio, at trickortreatradio.com.
I had sex with a pig.
All right, we're back.
Oh, we're back. At least we're back. Where the hell is
Some
everyone?
of us are.
So I just figured, what the hell? It's 11 p.m. and I decided to go live on Facebook as well on the Deadites. So if anyone, we have some people checking things out on the Facebook. So I get out of the bathroom. I hear like a thud as I'm in the bathroom, and then I hear I get out of the bathroom, and Mars is like laying on the floor, like writhing around.
I have no. I'm not 100% positive what
What
happened.
the fuck
I dropped
happened?
my water.
I think Aries.
Your water broke?
I think Aries threw a bottle of water at me and knocked me down the stairs, but I'm not sure.
You
Either that
went
or
pretty far.
Either that or I fell so far that water came out of me. No, what
And
happened
landed
is
in a
that
bottle.
it hit me, and like I did the fucking psycho fall. I like fell and then hit something and changed direction. And so, you know what the craziest part of it is? I don't know how he did this. I was walking down the stairs with my back turned, and Aries managed to hit me in the front of my body with
I
the
hit
bottle.
you in the shoulder.
It's felt like you hit me. No, you hit me. It hurts here. So,
That's complete opposite side of the body I hit you on.
or maybe that's from falling. Then I guess.
Yes.
But like,
Because
but like,
you hit the bottom of the stairs, you turned, and I hit you with the bottle.
oh, so that's how I ended up going in. Yeah, it's fucking bad. Raven Shadow didn't help me either. So what are you doing on the floor?
Yeah, he was just laughing.
Bombaleo. Yeah. And now if
You
that
were
happened,
just laughing at him.
if that happened to him, we would have had to call the fucking. Forget about the ambulance. Call Ronies right away. They would have to
Okay,
fucking
now
bring
mind
over
you,
the
it's a
her-
little bottle of water. No one should have hit the floor.
You
because
fucking, you're a god of war.
I tossed it down the
No,
stairs.
you
I got
didn't.
lucky
God
that
of
it made
water.
contact.
No, you fucking threw it overhand.
It was a full bottle of water and it was dented.
Yeah.
That's your little dent.
Through my water?
No.
Oh. It's a fucking dent, though.
That's my water. Could I have this
That's
water?
not a. That's not. I'll,
You better be careful.
can't
Aries
dent
is
that
gonna
one.
change the name of this fucking episode is gonna be called the man the man who killed Dynamo and then later
Mind you,
Raven
relax. It's water.
No.
Look at the look. Look at the look on his face.
Yeah, I'm not relaxed. There's fucking hardware on the floor. There's expensive shit. Am I gonna have to outlaw water in this fucking studio?
You're not gonna have outlaw water.
You should outlaw it.
Is this the first? Is this our first fight, Aries?
You should outlaw.
Do we need to step outside?
About time you two got to duke it out. A little
You
bit.
should outlaw it on the stairs because that hurt. I'm sore here, and I'm sore here, and I don't know how.
Now, as I was about to say, if I really threw it at you, it would have exploded when it hit you.
Ooh.
I did explode. You got it all over my favorite faction, whose name I can't say.
Los Ingobernables de Japón.
Yeah.
There you go.
And by the way, for anybody paying attention, French lessons going bad.
Why are you learning French?
Because I think that it's something to
It's
do.
a language of love.
A language of love.
Yeah.
No, you can't use that. I mean, like learn Spanish, dude.
No. First of all, I have a leg up because I took 4 years of 2 years of French. So, well.
Monique.
All right, so let's talk about the movie. We're going to be discussing The Man Who Killed Bigfoot and then... I'm sorry, I keep fucking up. The Man Who Killed Hitler and then the Bigfoot.
Yeah, it doesn't work the other way around.
This film just hit VOD in 2019. It's not rated. It is 98 minutes, and it is listed as an adventure drama sci-fi. Is written and directed by first-time feature filmmaker Robert Krzyzkowski, I think is how you say that. KRZ Krzyzkowski. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks very much, Joe. You're the authority.
Yes. I know someone who's Polish.
And it stars Sam Elliott, Aidan Turner, Ron Livingston, Caitlin Fitzgerald, Anastasia Tsikhanova, Sean Bridgers, Mark Steger, Larry Miller.
Yeah, right?
Your boy.
Yeah. Love Larry Miller.
And the synopsis, very simply put, a legendary American war veteran is recruited to hunt a mythical creature.
Fucking A right.
Fucking A right?
And it also had Ron Livingston, Peter from Office Space.
Didn't I say him?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it had Sam Elliott, too.
It had Sam Elliott, too.
Yeah, yeah.
And Sam Elliott's mustache.
Yes.
Yeah. It should get its own billing.
Yeah.
Now, has Sam Elliott fucking aged?
No.
Hey, the dude.
He looks the same the last 40 years.
He looks 40 in the fucking mask.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Well, there's a good reason for that. It's because he is.
I think he has the same cup that
He was
like
born in 1944.
Morgan Freeman's drinking and Jennifer Connelly.
In its mask,
So,
not
let's
the
see,
mask. That's a different movie.
Wasn't he?
So he's like 70. He's like 73 here, or 74 when this movie was made.
Yeah. Dude looks fucking great.
He looks awesome.
amazing. Yeah.
He looks awesome.
The fucking, he's so fucking good. Anyway, I mean, fucking Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. Is that your movie, Roadhouse?
I fucking love Roadhouse.
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 His name is Dalton.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and start talking about this flick. Now, this is obviously one that we've been anticipating. I think we heard about it mid to late last year, and just the title alone, you're like, what the fuck? I got to see this movie, right? Like, you don't even have to know anything about it, but how can you not want to see a movie called The Man Who Killed Hitler and then the Bigfoot?
And then, by the way, it has Sam Elliott in it.
And has Sam Elliott, yeah.
Fucking yeah, I'll see that. And it's 94 minutes, or whatever the fuck. Perfect running time.
98.
That's good. No, almost too long.
It's good for Aries, though.
Yeah.
It's in my wheelhouse.
Made the effort to go over 90 minutes, so Aries liked it.
And regardless, the news of Sam Elliott being nominated for an Academy Award should, boost the the viewership of this movie.
Star is Born, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was in that until I saw the nominees. So
good for him.
I honestly think he should maybe get fucking nominated for this movie.
I can't wait to fucking discuss it.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
You want to discuss it?
Let's fucking do
Let's
it.
do it.
Yeah.
All right. So this movie obviously Oh, we just got a photo from Raven J.
Oh, muffins are done.
All right, hold on. Let me check. Maybe I'll put it up on the. That's fucking detailed.
Holy shit! What's happening there? Wow.
That is
He's
funny.
gotten fucking better, I think, and that's a fucking bold statement.
That is funny.
What's
All right,
happening?
Ooh, Bambaleo.
What am I ordering?
Black number 1. Did you mention anything about that?
I do like typo negative.
Black
number 1.
Let's see here.
That is too funny.
All right, I'll go ahead and post that up. So we watched The Man Who Killed Hitler and then The Bigfoot. And I didn't know what to fucking think of this movie. So I went in kind of without expectations. The only expectations are you're going to see Hitler and you're going to see Bigfoot, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're going to see Sam Elliott
And a man.
and a man.
Who kills them both.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was kind of spoiler, I thought. But
What, that a man killed him?
well, like,
Well,
the
the
they
title
said right
kinda
out, yeah.
the title kind of gives everything away.
Well, the thing is,
but it's that kind. But it's
but
the
that's
kind
not
of
what
title,
the movie's about.
No, and I think that's where I think a few people might get put off by that.
Yeah.
Well,
good.
no,
You know?
because the title is a little misleading because
Sure,
I don't know if you're familiar with history, but no one killed Hitler.
true.
Well,
Well,
Supposedly.
Supposedly he killed
yeah.
himself.
Eli Roth did.
Bear Jew.
Yeah. No, but that's what he said. There were multiple Hitlers.
Yeah.
No, well,
Wait.
And the guy who played him, I
what do you mean? Wait, did you not watch this movie?
No, I did, but
I mean-
multiple Hitlers?
the guy who played him.
You
that
didn't see
was-
the movie
he-
then.
No, I did.
You missed something then, because
I must have missed something.
You missed a key plot point.
yeah,
The guy who played him,
Aiden Turner.
He's just talking for a few minutes.
Are you talking
I'm gonna
about
go.
the young version of Sam Elliott's character?
Calvin Barr.
Yeah, you talking about Aiden Turner was?
Yeah.
Yeah, was the young one. What about him?
What?
What about him?
Who? Me?
You?
Yeah.
I'm not. No, I'm talking about the guy who played Hitler.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the young.
No. I'm talking about the guy who played Hitler, who was very. I mean, for the small amount of time that he's on screen, he really did look the part of Hitler. Just about as good as I would say Bruno Ganz in the movie Downfall, if you've ever seen that.
I think everyone's seen that clip.
No, not that. Well,
Well,
yeah,
the,
it has
the
that
famous
clip.
Yeah,
It has that famous clip, yes, but the whole movie itself is just absolutely fantastic. You should check it out.
Yeah.
But the guy who they got to play Hitler in this movie is really, really quite good.
I think who was it that mentioned, like, I can't remember, but someone mentioned, like, people who play Hitler don't really go on to have like you don't see any big stars
careers, yeah.
necessarily.
Bruno Ganz is still working, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the last notable thing that I knew that he was in Werner Herzog's Nosferatu the Vampire.
Werner Herzog.
Well, I mean, he's not the norm though. Name someone else who's played Hitler.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's your career doesn't skyrocket because you played Hitler.
Who was the guy that played Hitler in, what was it, Kung Fury? He was good. Give that guy a movie.
Give that guy a movie. Give him a 6-picture deal.
Yeah. Give him a credit on IMDb.
But I mean, the basically the whole plot of the movie is in the title. You know?
Yeah. And the thing about it, and the thing I'm really interested to talk about is it lays it all out there for you. You know what is gonna fucking happen, but it's the journey, and
right,
it's
exactly,
and it's the memories, and it's about Rachel. Yeah.
Can I throw something out there? There's two things right off the bat with this flick.
Yes.
One, I was impressed they got to do a fucking Zeppelin song in the beginning because they're fucking almost like notorious for not letting people use their music.
I don't think there was a Zeppelin song.
Yeah, in the bar.
What song?
I don't know, fucking Zeppelin.
I don't.
It was
I think-
Zeppelin used.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
But
I
very
kind
rare.
of took a mental inventory, and I don't remember Zeppelin.
Yeah, it was very rare that they're very.
They've kind of become lax in the last few years.
really?
Yeah.
But still, I was impressed by that. And I gotta say, with this flick, from what we've talked about so far, this reminds me if Captain America wasn't in a block of ice, but if he aged normally.
Yeah, and the funny thing too about it is that they actually call him, or at least the the French were calling him Mr. America.
Yeah, right. That's
which,
right.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty funny. Yeah, no, that wasn't Led Zeppelin. It was fucking Billy Squier, you asshole. Lonely as the Night by Billy Squier.
Oh.
Do you even know Led Zeppelin, bro?
Yeah, fucking. All right, now that you're saying it. Okay. Well, he sounds like fucking Zeppelin. He has a Zeppelin.
He sounds like Zeppelin.
Yeah.
That's not the singer's name.
Yeah, it's Ted Zeppelin.
Ted Zeppelin. And his brother Ed Zeppelin.
Yeah, Ed Zeppelin. That's been in Aliens hotel rooms.
You literally have been waiting all day to make a point that was fucking wrong.
A, not the first time, and B, well, you know what? Okay, well then, Billy Squier's all right.
Oh my God.
Go ahead, Wolfie.
God damn it.
I was racking my brain. I'm like, geez, I don't
Yeah.
really love Led Zeppelin, but I can't remember when that was.
Because there was.
Well, I remember it being an old song, but he
I
got me
remember an
thinking it
old
was Led
song,
Zeppelin,
yes.
so I went along with it. It was Billy Squire. It was.
See,
Billy
I'm
Squire.
up on all that level of like 70s stuff because fucking Supernatural, like that fucking that shit lives and dies by Supernatural. Like,
My bad.
Well, no one's ever claimed that you're like a bastion of
right.
music knowledge.
Or,
So
like, you would have known what it is if fucking Sam Elliott was listening to Bomb to the Bomb.
that Kid Rock was fucking banging in the beginning.
I like Kid Rock.
All right, so one thing I did mention this earlier, but I want to. It bears repeating. This is a feature film debut.
Yeah, fucking ain't right.
Robert Krzyzewski, and I gotta say, it's fucking damn impressive. And he wrote it too. So, the one thing I will say, I thought the script in this was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was blown away by the script, and it's just so understated, and the things I loved were like just the sort of like little things that he conveyed through symbolism or through just like, I guess just symbolism. Like, it was just so well done. I was like, man, like, this is the kind of thing, like, Mars, I know you say this all the time when you listen to Alkaline Trio. You're like, oh, I'm going to give up writing music. But I saw this and I was like, I've often like thought of myself as a writer. You know, I don't do it as much as I would like, but I saw this and was like, what? Why would I even fucking try? Because like this is so well done.
Here's what impressed me about this. Like, I won't say that I agreed with all the decisions that he made, but there was a confidence here that I haven't seen since we saw Bone Tomahawk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it like this was the movie that it was, and it didn't falter one time.
No.
And it's a really, I hate to use the word, but like, I won't say, I was going to say wonky tone, but that's not even what I mean. It is a slippery slope that he builds for himself to balance on through this. It would easily could have got fucked up into like self-parody. Or even if there was just a little bit longer to say not get engaged in a part, because you go into this movie with the expectation that you're going to see something outlandish, right? And he does give you outlandish things, but he presents them in like the most
serious. Is that what you're saying?
In a
matter
very
of fact,
real world way.
Yeah, I'd say matter of fact.
Like nobody. So maybe we're jumping ahead a little bit, which is fine, and I don't mean to interrupt too much, Mars. But like when Sam Elliott's character is presented with the idea of going to track Bigfoot, like, it should be ridiculous, and no one bats an eye at it. It's like completely. It's just like, hey, we're gonna send you after Osama bin Laden or something like that. Right. No one even like was like, that's fucking weird. Like that's a real thing.
Right.
And even when he talks to his brother's like, you don't think I'm crazy or something like that? He's like, he went on this whole thing about like, I know one thing, like all men are the same thing. He's like, like a liar is a liar, an honest man is an honest man, you know. And he's like, so you're honest. I believe you, you know. And I just thought that was such a cool thing. And because like just based on the title alone, this movie could just have been like bonkers, and it could have just been ridiculous for ridiculous sake. But it played it completely straight, and I love that decision.
And
it is a bold decision to make because
it is bold, yeah.
It is, and a bold and ballsy move, really, because I mean, you get this first-time director nobody's ever heard of before. He comes out with a movie with a title like this, and he plays it completely opposite. That's ballsy. And he plays it, and he has everyone playing out so well. Particularly Sam Elliott, who I thought was absolutely fantastic in this movie. He downplayed everything.
Well, Sam Elliott is almost the exception to the rule in this film, right? Because all Sam Elliott had to do was show up and be Sam Elliott, and he's going to be totally.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you cast Sam Elliott in a movie, you want Sam Elliott.
Right.
You're not looking for anything else.
Right. You know what I mean?
And that's what you got here.
Oh yeah.
Completely downplayed it, and which was, of course, the right move to make.
But the subtlety and the pain, and maybe that's like what you get from someone who was 78. Did someone say he's 78?
Yeah, he's like 70.
Maybe that just
74, but
yeah.
Okay, maybe that just comes inherent with someone who's lived as long as he has. But I felt the weight and the gravity of everything that he had been through up to that point. You know, because we get flashbacks of a younger version of him, which I appreciated, and not the sort of CGI de-aging.
Oh yeah, you couldn't do that for.
Well, they gave him the mustache. That was all that mattered.
Yep.
Eventually, yeah.
So, you know, and I appreciated that. And I just feel like his performance carried the weight of what had happened prior.
I agree.
And that's something I love. So while you guys are right, when you get Sam Elliott, you're getting Sam Elliott. You're not getting a young whippersnapper or someone who's going to, play a specific role. You get him to play that role. But I felt like all the weight behind the performance was there.
Right.
Oh yeah, I mean, from when we first meet him in the bar to when he goes to his car, in that scene when he gets mugged, attempted to get mugged, and then when he sees the one thing he wanted was the picture.
Oh yeah, that was pretty brutal.
And even just when he's
he's
the asshole's in the car and he's like leaning into it like, you can't take my car. I'm just like, they're beating up this old man. Then it flips the script a little bit.
yeah.
And and you see what this cat's made of.
Yeah. Yeah, so and it's told in a very non-linear style. So just, if that's jarring for some people, we get these great flashbacks, and the thing I loved about it was you could see all the things that triggered his memories. Like I thought that was fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Like there was
From
that
paintings on the wall to
to when he was getting his haircut in his brother's shop, and he sees the color, just the color of that bottle. Unless I missed something, was what triggered it, right?
Yeah.
And that triggered like the green sort of field. And the thing is, we got them. At first, I was like, oh man, I want to know more about that story, because they kind of start off with Sam Elliott, the Sam Elliott version of Bar in a bar, and he's just kind of like he's staring into his drink and kind of wondering, kind of like I think wondering where his direction in life is and stuff. And then all of a sudden we cut back to when he was an American soldier and he's infiltrating Germans to kill Hitler. And that scene was fucking awesome. Like with him, like he basically, this is all in the beginning, so it's not a spoiler or anything, but he has all these different like trinkets that he carries on himself that needs to get checked by like security. So they check all the bits and pieces and give them back to him later. And then he makes a gun out of like a pen, a flask, and like what was like the handle? I don't know what the handle was.
Like
his belt buckle.
Belt buckle. Yeah.
Right.
But he basically fashions a gun out of all these little individual pieces, and like that whole scene was great. And then he knocks on the door, and then you see Hitler, and then it cuts away.
You're like, what the fuck?
He was like, come on, I want to see it. Like, give me the fucking titular line,
Yeah.
But the thing is, it tells, because that's how memories are, right? Like when you remember something, you remember like it sort of in a fractured manner.
Yeah.
You don't remember it like in a linear style. And that's what I loved is like each working through his daily life, we get these sort of like remembrances of what had happened. And then we eventually get the whole picture, which I thought was really fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And there's some really kind of quirky stuff. Like there was some like, I don't know, almost like it could borderline like was it the Zucker brothers, like in terms of some of their like Naked Gun or airplane comedies. there seemed to be little like flashes of where it could have been played like a spoof.
I didn't get that. I didn't get that at all.
I kind of felt like 10 minutes into this movie, there was going to be absolutely nothing goofy about this movie at all.
Yeah.
I mean, from the title alone, I was expecting a top secret sequel.
Which I would have been okay with.
Oh, yeah. No, I would have been 100% on board with.
Reavers.
But as soon as this movie started, I realized that's not what I was looking at.
You want Mel Tomei?
This is not
Chocolate mousse.
Gasoline. Ha 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 ha.
Good.
Yeah.
You got a problem in your bag?
I think is it water from Aries?
No.
All right.
And
yeah,
are we good?
This
okay.
I think it's from something else.
I think
It's not
some
this.
water may have trickled that far.
No, I
Jesus
mean,
Christ, Aries.
Water's banned. Great, thanks, Aries.
And not only do we get the flashbacks of him infiltrating through enemy territory and trying to get into Hitler's camp, but he's also going through the flashbacks of remembering his girlfriend, and he's trying. He's trying to live his life knowing that she's not around anymore, and
Right.
and she has and. At some point, there was a time where he had all these notes and letters that she sent to him while he was out in enemy territory, and he just wants to forget his. It seems like he wants to forget his past, so he takes all the letters and the notes and everything that.
Well, that's like, what do you do if you don't want to be like, if you don't want to face something, you fucking ignore it, right?
Right.
Drink.
And well, it works for some. But the thing I loved about that is she meant so much to him, and I thought that like this was one of like, for me anyways, this is one of like the sweetest love stories I've seen in a film in a long time. Now, granted, I don't seek out romance, so maybe that's on me for not really seeing many of them, but I just thought it was so sweet the way it was portrayed, and and even though Calvin is such like a badass and such a cool character, he's so flawed as well. He's far from perfect.
No.
But we also get this, we see like he tries to propose a couple times. It gets kind of like, and it's just
he
like
gets sidetracked, and it starts to really rattle his nerves,
and it's like heart wrenching because you're like, oh man,
because he finally had the guts to finally go up and do it,
Right.
but then he gets sidetracked by another couple talking to her.
Well,
the shoe
ruins-
tying one
asshole.
was fucking
The
like
asshole.
The what?
The shoe tying one scene was like heart wrenching.
Well, it's such a metaphor.
Yeah.
For.
What's a metaphor?
How many times like do you talk about like like doing something or saying something that you wish you did, and like for things like just outlandish things like interrupting you or things that like in a different like the difference between that antidote if they went on and lived a great life someday, that they tell that story of he tried to propose and you know all this stuff happened
and
it being like a tragedy. Like I say all the time, like I blew off a phone date with my buddy and hero Scott Retrudy, and never saw him again. Like the if I blew off that phone date on Wednesday and I saw him on Saturday, like I was gonna, and he gave me shit about it the whole time, it probably would be another running joke between he and I. But when you lose that, like those things become like those things that would be funny things become cosmic fuck yous, and that's like that kind of is like in a film that's sort of about choices. This character suffered a lot for being polite, for doing the right thing. There's a lot to be said here about this is a character study about the burden of never being selfish, I guess is the best way to put it. The burden of never putting yourself first. He very easily could have told those people to fuck off, or very easily, you know what I mean? But like he said he didn't want to do didn't care if the person deserved killing. He didn't want to kill the person he killed, and he didn't want to go in the woods and hunt down the other thing. Like, but he did what the right thing to do was, not what he wanted to do. You know, and he basically.
And that's part of his moral code, right?
And he paid for it at every turn.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, he didn't live it was played in a way that it didn't become like a fucking Barnabas Collins, like, how can I live an existence such as my own? You know, like, he, it was like very like, I think we've had this conversation, Wolfie, and maybe Aries too. Like, I hate the expression, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But like, I feel like it's very, his kind of attitude was, it is what it is, Like,
I think in spite of the title, that's not what the movie's about.
No.
At all.
Which is a complete misdirection. And
at all. It has nothing to do with this. It just has to do with a guy just trying to live his life. That's really the crux of what this movie's about. And that's really what it should only be about. The fact that this title was thrown in there like that was a nice little switcheroo by the director. And it caught me off guard because I was expecting something pretty outlandish,
right?
And I didn't get that. But what I got was something better.
This is a hard role too.
Yeah. Shit. I was just gonna say something. I forgot. I didn't want to cut MZ off. I don't know. It was sort of about the title and also Mars had touched on this, but just the way that they portray the character, like he has his code or his ways, but he also, like, later in life he's kind of listless because he doesn't have that direction,
right?
Because he doesn't know how to make himself happy in a way where he always does what he feels is right, but when push comes to shove, but when you get to that point where you're just kind of drifting and living out your life, what do you do? Like, no one's telling him what to do. And I think when he was presented with this opportunity to go track Bigfoot, at first he was like, nope. And then after he started thinking about it, he's like, I know. Like, he knew he had to go fucking do it, right? Like, despite everything else, and it didn't even matter that he was gonna potentially save the world or whatever. This was something that needed to be done. He was the guy to do it, and he wanted to do it.
He knew before he knew. Like, that was the thing. Like, he kept, like, he kept, happenstancely being in front of the TV when they were talking about, things happening. He kept having, the flipping open the newspaper, and that's what's there. It's almost like he felt like, it coming again,
Yeah.
There's something. I haven't seen a performance this subtle yet nuanced yet powerful, and everyone who knows me knows that this might be the highest compliment that I can give, because this is basically my cinematic hero since Gabriel Byrne's portrayal of Tom Reagan in Miller's Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not a lot of, like, 90% of Sam Elliott's lines are in two parts of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this isn't a character with a ton of written exposition, like spoken exposition. Like, kind of reminded me a little bit of, like, what Aries is going to be like when he's
when no one's there to call to ask him for help.
Like, what do I? Like,
you know what? I wish I could be pissed off, but yeah, no, I 100% see the similarities there, where it's just, you know what? No one's calling me. I'm home alone. I'm doing nothing.
Yeah.
But you call. I'm gonna go. Like we just said with Monster Zero.
Yeah.
I didn't reach out and said, "Are you okay?" But if he had called and said, "Can you bring me some soda?" I would have brought him over soda. It's just little things like that. I can 100% relate to this character.
I was looking at the trivia on this movie, and it turns out that a portion of this was shot in Montague, Massachusetts.
Yep.
Really?
They actually, if you watch the credits, it says something about the Massachusetts film, something or other. So yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of this, actually, all jokes aside, remind him, this character reminded me a bit of Ares. And it's funny, those two characters that I mentioned together, I feel like are flip side of the same coin.
And there was a lot of really fucking great scenes in this. Like, how about I talked about the scene in the beginning where he's putting the gun together. What about that shave scene?
Oh, it was great. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Like
the crazy gypsy fucking.
Yeah,
like weirdness.
That scene was just so tense, and it was so simple. The way he was talking about the curse, I need to. What do you say? I can't purposely slip, but if I did by accident, or if you moved,
Right, but the goal is to do the perfect shave, but you can't try to. You can't the perfect shave is unattainable. It was a weird fucking voodoo thing going on. Gesundheit.
Thank you. I didn't sneeze like Aries.
Yeah. and just as a side note, I would never let anyone come anywhere near my neck with a straight razor.
Yeah, I know you wouldn't.
Well, I've
had barbers begging to shave me. No one is coming near me with a straight razor.
What's a whole other class of
I don't
barbers.
think I have the guts to do that.
They say it's one of the things to do before you die is to get a fucking.
Who says that?
Maxim magazine, whatever the fuck. Years
ago.
One of them.
Listen to what they say.
Yeah,
the manly man things to do before you die.
The journalistic.
It's fun. They do the whole.
Buy a $400 shirt while we're at it too. Right?
It's not fun.
Fuck
it's
them.
an outdated concept.
Right.
They invented better razors for a reason.
You're gonna get your shoe shine too.
That's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
A professional shoe shine is actually very good.
Sorry.
Getting shaved by a straight razor, not a good thing.
I'll have you know, up until about 5 years ago, I would shave with a straight razor sometime because I was fucking pretentious. But
how have you? That's why you have a scar on your neck.
No.
And that guy's beard was pretty thick. I mean, that was a job.
Tiny bought me a very nice straight razor.
Speaking of, someone had mentioned shoes. But the one of the things I loved is so you see a lot of little subtext, and they show a scene of him in the past, and they focus on his shoes, and then they immediately cut to modern the present day, and he's tying his shoes, and they're not the same shoes, which obviously they wouldn't have been, but they're the same color, they're similar style, and I thought that was just such a cool tie-in because it's kind of alluding to the fact that he's walked a long way. It alludes to the fact that walking a long way in his shoes.
Shoes.
Yeah.
And I thought that was such a subtle but effective, thing, and the way that the memories were triggered, like things like colors or the silverware, like little things like that. I just thought was so brilliant. It's such a subtle thing.
He was staring into that window, and next thing you know, it's a flashback to a hat shop, and
yeah.
Everything you had to know about this character was done in one brilliant scene. He's walking up. He goes through multiple checkpoints. He's about to kill Hitler, and then the next time you see him, he's laying on the front lawn, saying goodbye to that dog, like patting that dog. You know what I mean? Spending time patting that dog.
I fucking love that dog, by the way. And I'm so glad that we
Ralph?
saw like a relationship with the dog where the dog doesn't.
Yeah.
No spoiler here because I think some people could be triggered by it, but like no dog death.
No.
Like it was just such like a great relationship, and I love that. Like I thought that was so. Like that day when he took the dog with him, like for the whole day, I thought that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for something. I was waiting for that too.
Yeah.
We've been
Germany,
so it's so ingrained in us now in modern cinema that when someone gets attached to a dog, it's probably gonna die.
There is one sequence of events that I don't understand, and I don't know if we can talk about it on here.
Well, I can't tell you if we can or not.
I don't know. There's a ceremony in his honor.
Oh, I know.
And I don't know what happened to make everybody think that.
Just because he was gone for a while.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't I don't know.
The passage of time wasn't portrayed well enough.
Yeah, they didn't do. I mean,
But that's
most
what
of
it
the time
was.
I get it. Most of the time I think it was not portrayed well in a proper way, but in that one sense.
And plus, what he did with the walkie-talkie.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah. I mean, I knew.
So no one could get a hold of him.
Right. So it just seemed like I don't know, it didn't. I didn't understand. Like what had happened, why that went down that way. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. It was a really good scene because there was some expository dialogue that he wouldn't give. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah,
it was a
plus-
way to get
and
people
plus
to
we got-
talk about him, which he didn't do.
Right, and plus we got the, some effects being buried and
Right.
stuff like that, which I thought was
Yeah.
once again some cool subtext.
Yeah, he was so modest that the scene where the part where Michael Ravenshadow missed that part there, which like is almost understandable in a way because like there's kind of something else going on there. It almost, you could tell that not only did he not like to talk about the fact that he did that, you could tell that it bothered him to have to almost talk about himself. Like he did it.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah.
the only thing that bothered him more than talking, like the only thing that bothered him more than what's his name from Office Space, than him putting himself over was having
Flagpin was
Yeah.
his name.
was having he had to do it himself to stop that person from saying his accolades. Like
Right.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he felt like what that person was saying was what that person was glorifying was just in his eyes him being a murderer or maybe a mass murderer.
and he was
in some sense.
mischaracterizing him like
Yeah.
as a hero, and he was
Yeah.
like, I'm not a hero. I just did what I was told to do. I killed a guy, and the way he told it, I thought was like once again sort of downplaying everything, and
Yeah.
and most people will be like, yeah, I fucking killed Hitler.
There's
you know?
also a story there too that's really interesting because you don't get to be the one that killed Hitler without being something special in the first place, So
Yeah.
like there was like all this like, and like again, you don't get to be the one that kills Hitler and be patting a dog on the fucking front lawn. Like this is like they didn't talk about the other times, but like he was Captain America. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But like
he was a super serum less Captain
right,
America.
but the way, the way you would glorify Captain America being a hero going through World War II and maybe killing a lot of people or killing one people, he saw it as, I don't like killing.
Well,
And
he
that-
was chosen for that mission for two reasons. One, because he was able to do it. Two, because he wasn't going to talk about it.
right.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like just such a nuanced performance, and there's also like, I was worried they were going to go the big fish route, right? Where I was, where it was going to be like really maybe
Like in his own mind.
Yeah.
In like a.
But I do think that there was
like
enough.
a tall tale.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do think that there was, or some of these stories were his kind of justification of, you know what I mean, like.
Interesting.
But I do think there was a kernel of that there. You know what I mean? Like where maybe in this narrative it did all happen, but this whole movie is seen from his point of view, right? So like at the end of the day, like there's something to be said there about there's an interesting thing in this movie about aging, basically, and what he was basically dying in small town USA. But how many people do you hear about, right, that work till they're 87 years old and then pass away, versus how many people do you hear about that take an early retirement and they kind of are listless around until they, like my father-in-law, granted, he stopped doing anything when his wife got sick and eventually died. That dude died at what, 85, 84 years old. Like 2 years before that, he was driving a plow all the time and doing like, you know what I mean? Like being
Yeah.
a dump truck. Like he died, when like he ran out of life. You know what I mean? Like not that he ran out of life so he died. Like, and that's an interesting thing. Like in this movie, this character could have lived that whole life until he didn't.
Right.
But like he barely drunkenly got through three thugs, right? Because he was just like, and probably would have got his car stolen if they hadn't like crossed the line with him. But like, later on the line, he's walking hundreds of miles through the forest.
Okay.
And getting like knocked down, like fighting a monster.
Yeah. But I mean, who in this room is going to take out 3 people that are in the process of mugging them?
Not you, apparently. If your story's true.
No one.
Yeah, no.
They're armed.
Right.
There was a gun involved.
Right.
No one. Everyone is losing their vehicle.
Yeah.
And as far as the woods is concerned, he's exact opposite of Big Fish because he almost died.
Right.
In that scene, and what does he complain about?
Broke
his pinky.
Yeah. Well, he didn't even complain about it. He just.
No.
Yeah.
What happened? You fired that shot? Yeah, I fired that shot, and he broke my pinky.
Yeah.
He almost died. Anyone in this room? I almost died. I almost fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
no.
The
bastard broke my fifth
But that's
digit.
you're not.
That's the complete opposite
you're not
of Big Fish.
You're not understanding me though. Like it's not the kernel of the tall tale that's there. It's the kernel that Big Fish is about aging. Like this is a different This is a different look at aging. Like, because I think there's something interesting to be said in the fact that he became more spry, we'll say. Like, he became more of an action hero when he was given something to engage him. Because he would have sat in that fucking chair eating TV dinners till he died otherwise.
It's not that it became more spry. I mean, it was always there.
Yeah.
He just didn't have anything to do. I mean, this is
sure, but I think
this was the polar opposite of Big Fish. That's my problem with your analogy. Is that Big Fish? It was just always exaggerated. He's downplaying everything.
No, that's true too. There is an antithesis there, but I think what I'm trying to say is that they're both very interesting. Well, I think this is much better than Big Fish too, but they're both very interesting things about aging.
I mean, at their core, it's all about aging.
Yeah,
both of them.
Which I drew the comparison that I was afraid it was going to be like that, but there was a parable between the two though different. They both had that one thing in common.
Well, even after everyone's always telling him, why don't you go down to Florida? Why don't you go fishing? Why don't you go do this and that? And he's like, what am I going to go down there to fucking die? Basically, like he just that wasn't what he wanted. He didn't want to do what everyone said that he should do at a certain age.
Right.
Like you're this age, you should be doing this.
Right. And there was nothing like like that happened a lot in. That was another interesting thing too, that I think was underplayed, and whether it was there on purpose or not. You'd hear stories about everybody wanted to go to World War II, and everyone, a lot of people came back, and war's good for business. So a lot of people came back and didn't have, there wasn't the infrastructure to employ all these people who came back, or things happened. Like there were a lot of women that moved into like industrial industry. Right. People, you hear a lot about a lot of women made widows, but there's also a lot of, men who came home to have, their wives leave them, or they die on making a fucking battleship or whatever, so like a lot of, you hear it a lot in Vietnam because it was a lot less glorified, but a lot of people came home after serving their country to nothing, to not having, especially if you can't imagine being the person who really turned the tide of war. And even if you don't want to talk about it, like, you made, and I'm not sure if the movie is making a statement on this or not. It's one of the things that, you'll only know. But, like, despite the fact he wasn't proud of it, what does it weigh on you to know that you changed the world? And now you're eating TV dinners.
Right.
Like,
but he didn't change the world.
Technically, yeah. I mean, I guess it would depend on someone's point of view, but to him, he didn't. He just
did what he was told.
He did what he was told, and it didn't really change anything, according to him. So,
I mean, definitely according to him, but I don't think he did anything. If he was successful or wasn't successful, it didn't change the outcome of that war.
Yeah, and that just goes to show that, like there is revisionist history.
Yeah.
And even like Pinflag, who is played by Ron Livingston, or Flagpin. I'm sorry. He he is sort of like looking at Calvin Barr as this sort of like hero, and like looking up to him, and he's heard stories about him, and then he just kind of like deflates his fucking balloon by being like, yeah, well, no, it's no big deal. I just did what I was told, and kind of explained it. So,
and not for nothing, you don't know what would have happened if Hitler, like, if they had staged a Hitler death and there was still a real Hitler running around. Like, you don't know.
Sure.
Like that's like he didn't change the real life world. Like if things went down exactly like they actually went down in history, but who knows what would have happened if fucking Hitler supposedly hung himself, and then like 2 years later, like there were groundswells of, I mean, that whole part of the world was like literally a hotbed until the 90s. Yeah. So there's no like guarantee that things wouldn't have changed if 3 years later like Hitler showed up. He could have fucking everyone who believed in the shit he was selling then, people still believe it now, but everybody who believed what he was selling then, it would have been fucking even more powerful if he showed up like fucking German Christ.
Well, I mean, it was unconfirmed that he actually died. There's talk of him living in Argentina.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's true.
And I hate to relate it to, like present day stuff, but and I hate to admit that even now, like if Trump were to go away, I still feel like he made it okay for his followers to do, to act like they act. And it's basically
they're completely justified.
Because of him. And even if he went away, like
that's not going to change anything.
They'd still be
well,
there,
I mean, Elizabeth Warren had a very great quote recently, like, and it basically said that this isn't, like, none of this is Trump's fault. This is stuff that's been brewing forever, in one way or the other. You know what I mean? It would have come up anyway.
Right, and maybe it's who knows? Maybe in the grand scheme of things, after all is said and done, maybe it was good that it came up now.
Yeah,
and we're able to hopefully get rid of it. But like that's.
I'm certainly not downplaying this monster, but I think he's symptomatic, not the disease.
Oh, he's absolutely, yeah. So I want to move ahead a little bit more in the discussion, and so that scene when he's brought in to go hunt Bigfoot, and then he's presented with this whole fucking armory, and he basically says, "That gun, that scope, and this knife." Like
that's all I need.
That whole thing was so fucking awesome.
Yep.
I just like love that scene.
Well, he's so confident in what he's capable of doing that doesn't take much for him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was just so so understated, and once again, just kind of speaks to his character.
So fucking good.
And
all down, it's so well downplayed too. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
And by the way, like, do you guys notice that Bigfoot is at least a vegetarian, if not a vegan?
Yeah. See what you have to look forward to. Keep on eating berries. You live in the
I'll look
forest
like Bigfoot?
looking like a monkey.
You have an
shoot you.
An antibacterial disease. But like, I think I mean, again, like, so much, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you just followed the film of what he did, you'd think that like all these things, like, he just kind of like arbitrarily maybe got picked to like hunt Hitler, but he was like a fucking like a master tracker and like some sort of a detective.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but they didn't like.
Yeah.
You could watch. Someone else could watch that movie and say they didn't say he did that. They didn't like, but they showed everything. He never fucking one time said he loved dogs. But what was a more defining trait about him than like this character didn't say anything about himself, and they didn't say anything about that character until the ceremony that happened, right? They showed it all, which I thought was just fucking beautiful. Like, just really beautiful. Like, it did make me sentimental because it reminded me of, how Aries is going to be old and cranky someday. Older and crankier. And, what was weird about it is that I felt like at the end of the movie, Ares was fighting Michael Ravenshadow, and it made me all emotional and uncomfortable because he's all fucking. He had the wingspan and everything else. There was a great visual effect there that I think was forced perspective. By the way, I don't think it was digital prestidigitation, where they showed like a size difference between Bigfoot and Sam Elliott. That I thought was,
so. I caught that too.
I thought was fucking incredible. Like,
I caught that too.
I just again, I don't agree with every little thing that this movie did. But is that I don't know. Like I think that like I appreciate the confidence. Like
yeah,
you know, like Monster Zero, is this something that you could like beat out that you like necessarily think was like the wrong
there's something you
choice?
beat out, all right.
That what?
That you thought was like that the director made the wrong choice. You know?
No. I mean, even to the very last shot, which I think is a crane shot, I think was so
great shot, yeah.
So such a perfect way to end the movie. I really, I mean, if I thought yes, if I was to give any
like somebody's watching me, that Rockwell.
If I was to give any negativity towards
the
film,
neighbors watching,
it would be very, very, very nitpicky.
Yeah.
And to be perfectly honest with you, if you were to ask me right now if I was to think of anything, I couldn't think of anything offhand. I'd have to watch the movie again to give you a definitive answer.
I was
right
so
now,
enchanted by everything that I
that's a good word.
I just didn't pick anything out that was like subpar. Like this felt like a film that was in the hands of someone who has been doing this for a while and someone who was really confident, and that's crazy to me, you know?
I think that my only complaint, and this is really nitpicky, was when he was reading a letter, right? Like that's kind of a weird expository device, I guess. You know what I mean? Like to have someone remembering reading and then having visual flashback cues from there. You know what I mean? Like I felt like that was sort of like down the rabbit hole. But like,
yeah.
I mean, again, he was probably very aware of that. It was a choice. You know what I mean? It was a choice to kind of take that risk of fucking up. You know what I mean? And I don't think it did that. But like I started this review by saying, and I don't know that anyone. I'd be interested if anyone disagreed with me. This was a balancing act here. Even in his own way, Ravenshadow was saying that he saw that it could go this a whole other way. You know what I mean? And I think that there was the just in the premise alone, it could have gone, you know, another way. And I think that it was just such a fucking great balancing act. And I can't think of another time I can't think of another thing where they've accomplished it in this level. Anybody have?
And even having two actors who are known for comedy for the most
Sure.
part, like fucking what's his face, Peter from Office Space.
Ron Livingston. Yeah.
And
Larry Miller.
And
Larry Miller.
You know?
I know. I can't get the thought of Larry Miller being in this movie out of my head.
What a fucking
he was great.
performance.
Right? I mean, I'm so used to him. Wasn't he in a Hulk Hogan joint at one point?
Hulk Hogan
He was in
joint.
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he was in the sex video.
He was in Unnecessary Roughness, for Christ's sake.
Oh, and a great stand-up. He's a great stand-up.
Because he's obvious. Because here's the thing with this character. He's obviously probably there was something else there, right? Like with the way he kind of was always staring, like almost through everybody, and like you almost got the impression that he was maybe autistic or something. Like he was like his brother to a degree, almost like should have probably.
Larry David was
Yeah.
autistic? Oh.
Larry Miller.
Larry Miller.
Not Larry David.
Larry David.
Larry
Different HBO era comedian writer. But like, there was like such a performance there, because even if he wasn't like, he was the type of person, like if you met him, you'd be like, I can't quite put my finger on, like, he's a business owner and he seems pretty functional. Like like what's not right about him? You know what I mean? Like if anything, like I just.
Well, he was in Suburban Commando.
There was some kind of prosthetic going on with him that made me feel like there was supposed to be some kind of physical scarring.
his face, like there was definitely it looked like there was something maybe going on.
It just there was so many fucking stories they didn't tell there.
And
one
other thing about it too, and I won't get into too much, but the fucking dinosaur.
Yeah.
How fucking sweet was that too?
Oh yeah.
I just like there's so many powerful little moments in here that are so subtle, and if you're not paying attention, if you're fucking looking on your phone while watching this movie, you're gonna miss.
That could have been another fucking, not that actual thing, but like just going to that fucking function after everything that had happened, right? After when there was a thing that happened in this movie where 99% of movies were 38 seconds away from the opening credits, right? Like, and then to have a fucking this thing happen and then that thing happen, that was brave. You know, it could have been a fucking misstep, but like I don't know, like maybe it was a misstep. Maybe you could make an argument that it was.
Maybe it was
like,
accidental. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
but yeah.
And the other thing, the last thing I have on my notes is once again just some of that subtle subtext and just the symbolism is he kept like he had something in his shoe he just couldn't get loose and it kept like bothering him, and then at the end like it dislodged, and like that was just another like, oh man, like such a cool thing, and sort of what it means, you know, the gravity to it and the symbolism behind it was just so wonderful, you know, like
exactly
so many things like that in this, and it's subtle, and I feel like a lot of writers just kind of eschew that sort of thing because they're going for the big action or the big memorable thing. But honestly, these little things to me are probably more memorable. Like I'm never going to forget this movie. Like we could talk like 30 years from now and I'm going to remember certain little aspects about this, like the fucking thing in his shoe, or, you know, the
lottery ticket. The scene with the lottery ticket.
Yeah.
And the bone.
That like there were so many great things in this, and it makes it memorable, and this is a movie that we've already sort of mentioned, but its reputation almost precedes it, and it almost sets you up for failure because it delivers what it says, but not in the way you expect.
Yeah.
It
takes a back seat to what the movie is really about.
It's the Hitler and the Bigfoot stuff obviously is a big part of this, but it is sort of like just like throwaway stuff where you could insert anything here and the movie still would have been brilliant. And that's what I love about it. Like he comes out like fucking swinging with the title, and you think like, oh man, this is gonna be fucking crazy. This is gonna be like Kung Fury or something insane. And then what you get is this really sweet drama. Yeah. Like I know that's like a 4-letter word to you, Mars, but this is what it was. It was a drama.
No, drama doesn't bother me. Drama bothers me.
Elevated drama.
Thriller bothers me, but drama bothers me when you.
Yeah, but I think you said like it nothing kills my boner more than the word drama or something like that. You said something like that recently.
I don't remember. I believe
you have said something to that effect.
Yeah.
I did hear the word boner once or twice.
Boner jam.
What bothers me is when somebody makes like a horror movie and calls it anything else, or
I know that, but I mean, regardless, like this, if I was told you're gonna get like a story of Sam Elliott like basically going through life, aging, and kind of reminiscing of what happened prior in his life, I probably wouldn't have been like, oh man, I got to see this movie. So it delivered this high concept, it sort of set up this high concept. It did deliver, so it didn't necessarily like bait and switch you, but it actually gave you something completely different than you were expecting. And if I was told ahead of time, this movie is going to be more drama and there's going to be barely any action in this and barely any horror,
I would have been least.
I would have been like, no, I don't want that. But what you're given is way better than what you probably could have expected, because this is a movie that sticks with you more than if you had just gotten like, you know, a fucking fight with Hitler and a fight with a Bigfoot, you know.
I still would have liked that movie.
Sure, but
Yeah.
but it would be like fucking Demon Warp, right? Like we have fun talking about it and then we forget about it.
I would have liked to see the movie that they made about this guy.
Yeah, his documentary.
Yeah.
The what?
Like the fucking dramatization of his life.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
The Robert Rodriguez version.
Awesome.
So I want to start to wind this down. It is getting a little late. And we got some voicemail. So, is there anything else you guys wanted to discuss that we haven't talked about yet before we head to a verdict on this?
Well, I just want to say that just as an observation, the guy who plays the Bigfoot, Mark Steger, he's been playing creatures for quite a bit of time now.
Yeah, I
He's
recognize
in
that name.
Stranger Things, I Am Legend, and he also played Hobo Man in Velvet Buzzsaw.
Oh, that's where I know the name. Yeah.
So
Okay.
we got a Mark Steger 2-4.
Actually, I have to go soon because else I won't get a ride.
You won't?
All right.
But
That's the last of it.
yeah. MZ said what I was gonna say actually.
All right. So I guess we shall do the verdict then.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, verdict time. We're going to let you know whether this flick was a trick or a treat, and any final thoughts we may have. Raven Shadow.
I fucking loved it. I would say probably my favorite film of the year thus far.
Mhm.
And I'm going to be watching it with somebody over the weekend. So maybe even tomorrow night. But definitely I'm watching it again within the next couple of days.
Which event are you going to miss for that?
I don't know. What's Bill doing? Whatever Bill's doing.
Yeah, where's Bill's movie screening nowadays?
We all know Kyle's the real man behind the operation.
Wow.
My feelings are hurt. I'm hurt.
Your feelings are hurt.
My feelings are hurt.
I'll tell you this: if I mean, hey, do you have the new Deadite single yet?
What single?
Exactly.
You are the least supportive friend that I have, and your feelings are hurt.
I'm a big fan of that.
Of that.
The Deadites.
Have you bought it?
What? Wait. Where did I find it?
You wouldn't even know anyways. Never
Can I
mind.
buy a New Break Comics? I have a gift card.
Unbelievable.
Can I give you I am unbelievable. Can I give you $5 and I'll give me like a CD of it?
No, because it's 2019.
That's dumb.
All right, Aries.
Treat.
This was not the movie I was expecting. This was not the movie I wanted, but this was a good movie. This was an adventure movie. It was not an action adventure movie. It was just an adventure movie.
Good word.
I mean, there was times the adventure was exciting, but there was times where the adventure was just very deliberate and very story oriented. This is not my favorite movie of the year, but this was a very enjoyable movie. This movie definitely is a treat.
MZ.
Usually anything with Sam Elliott is going to rock, and this movie does indeed rock, but on a completely different level than what the title entails. The title, takes everything you think it's going to be right in front of your face, and it doesn't. It's put on the back burner, and it tells you instead the story of a man who is just trying to live his life. That's all it really is. And it's done in a way that's it's very well done, and I was highly impressed with what I saw. And for a freshman effort, this is aces. This is a very good movie. Like Aries said, it's not the movie I expected, not the movie I wanted, but it is a highly, highly well-made film. This is definitely a treat.
All right, Marsman.
I love the Aries behind the music. This was a treat.
Aries behind the music.
I love that. I'm being compared to Sam Elliott.
He looks younger.
It's not gonna get any better than this.
No,
Aries,
no.
so.
I'm
Wait,
smiling.
You've peaked.
Are we reviewing any Chris Christopherson films this year?
Yeah.
He looks younger than you, if that's any indication.
Watching the Blade trilogy over the weekend. The first two are good.
You know what? I've actually never seen the whole the third one in its entirety, despite Triple H being in it.
I could never get through it.
I saw it in the theater.
It's always the same scene when Eurotrash Dracula shows up at the Hot Topic Dracula store, and that's when I have to stop watching.
See, you really gotta love Ryan Reynolds to get through that movie.
And I do love Ryan Reynolds, actually,
because that it's just Ryan Reynolds. It's a Ryan Reynolds movie with some blade action happening here and there.
Fair.
And Triple H.
Triple H. Oh yes, yeah.
Does he have dogs in that too, or something?
He has two like
little dogs.
Pekingese.
Pekingese.
And he has gold fangs.
All right, so Mars, you gave your verdict, right? Yeah. So for me, this is a big time treat. I didn't mention this earlier, but to me, this almost felt like the Forrest Gump of genre cinema. Like,
wow. Okay.
Just because like we're going through all these events in history. I mean, granted, there was only like one major one, but I felt like it was like, but it had like the heart of like this really great character. So I don't know why, like, I'm not comparing it to Forrest Gump, but it just felt like sort of Forrest Gump of genre cinema. It had enough of everything to hold my attention, and a very sweet story. I love that we're presented with these ridiculous story elements in such a serious, sort of nonchalant way. No one even batted an eye at a Bigfoot creature that could destroy civilization. Like, no one would even like chuckled at it. And it was just nice to see such a flawed yet kind-hearted character in Calvin Barr. Like, someone had mentioned that lottery ticket scene. Like, that was fucking, like, beautiful, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I really think this is such a fantastic performance by Sam Elliott. Despite getting Sam Elliott, like, just the weight and the gravity behind his movements and his words and everything. Like, I just felt the weight of everything that he's gone through. And that you don't just get that from hiring someone. Like, he put a lot into this, and I really hope that this movie gets the props it deserves, because the title might set certain expectations that the film doesn't necessarily deliver on as much as people would like. But I absolutely adored this film, and I'm totally blown away that this was a first-time feature director.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait to see more from Robert Krizakowski, because this movie just fucking floored me. I loved it. I just thought that this would be kind of a fun movie that we had a good conversation about. I did not expect this. And this is a fucking brilliant movie. Mm-hmm. So I mean, there you go. We all gave a treat. So I recommend you guys all go check out The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot. It's available to get on VOD, and I believe the Blu-ray and or DVD might be available soonish. I don't know if it's available yet, but if not, you can pre-order it. So there you have it. The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot. Check it out. And next week, this is one you're looking forward to, Mars. You had mentioned, I think you had actually called it out. And we're going to be doing a film called Mega Time Squad.
Oh, yeah.
And Mega Time Squad will be available on VOD, I believe, on Friday the 16th.
Oh, shit. Cool poster.
Yeah, so it sounds cool. It's a synopsis. A small town, what? A small town crim?
Yeah, the crim of the corrupt.
Small town crim finds an ancient Chinese time travel device that can help him pull off a heist and start a new life, but he may not survive the consequences of tampering with time. Maybe it's supposed to be crime?
Sounds familiar.
Small town.
Like a bug in a jar.
No matter where you go, there you are.
A lot more poster art is coming out looking like this, and I'm totally for it.
Yeah, it's a cool poster for sure. The tagline is "Out of time without a clue." So it looks pretty cool. We're checking that out from director Tim Van Damme.
Rob Van Dam.
I think it means no, that's not right.
It's probably a small town criminal.
I don't.
That's what I was thinking.
Well,
Yeah,
I
but it
looked up
just
crim and
yeah, I just don't.
Well,
think
maybe
it's,
crim
I think
is
it's,
just.
I think it's criminal.
It's cool to say
Are the
crim. It's
crims
cool not to
running-
say the entire word.
That's right. Craig.
Are the crims running Wentworth?
It's also from New Zealand, so maybe I don't know if that's maybe it's a
No.
colloquialism. I don't know.
It's yeah, something. And I could be wrong, but it's
Cream.
it means criminal for sure, but it's Britain. It's like an Australian
there you go. Yeah.
slang.
So if you
you're
guys
right.
want to check it out, it will be available on VOD.
Are the crims running Wentworth? A woman was found murdered in Wentworth Correctional
He's the
Center.
cream of the crop.
Cream of the prop.
Cream of the crop. Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
So let's see. Oh, actually, there's another movie that's hitting VOD soon that I wanted to check out.
Sexy Time Murders.
Yes.
No.
Overlord.
Anna and the Apocalypse.
Oh.
But Megatime Squad hits the 15th, so that is actually so it is on Friday.
Tomorrow.
Friday the 15th.
Overlord's out, isn't it?
There's some good ones coming up. Might have to.
You guys should all watch Overlord. I think you'll all
watch it.
enjoy it. Well, you don't have to watch it just on the show.
Well, I'll watch it if it's.
It comes out. Overlord comes out on the 19th. It looks like so. That's that'll be in a few days. So
I've been watching a lot of Ernest films lately. So.
I also want to see. There's some really good stuff out there that I'm kind of curious about. I just don't know if we're gonna have time to check it all out, but we'll see what we can get in there. So
I'm a little nervous about Anna and the Apocalypse.
You don't like musicals?
I do,
No,
but
it's
I
a
don't like.
fucking musical.
I don't like.
I like musicals.
I love musicals, but I don't think I.
Aries loves musicals. Maybe we should do it for Aries.
Yeah.
I don't think I care about what a 2019 musical looks like. Is that fair?
Sure, it's fair to you.
What does a 2009
19
musical look like?
I don't know, but it doesn't have the pageantry of an old MGM musical, which is
How
what
do you
I
know?
like about
If you don't know what it looks like, how do you know it doesn't have that pageantry?
Well, I'm just saying, I don't think it will. I know a little bit about this movie, and I know it doesn't look that way, though.
All right, we gotta fucking wrap things up because it's getting late, and we got some voicemail. Let's see, we got 4 of them. So let's first hear from our boy, First Time Mike.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? This is First Time Mike. How's everybody doing?
Good, buddy.
As you can tell by my voice, it's a little raspy. I got a touch of a cold, and that weather you guys have been getting has been hitting Wisconsin first. So these past couple weeks have been kicking my ass weather-wise, which is why I haven't been commenting much and hanging out in the chat room. But always good to talk to you guys. Hope all is well. And my mom heard me listen to some of the Raven Shadow explanation. And Raven Shadow, First Time Mom, says, get better and be careful with shoveling.
Raven Shadow missed talking about him.
Best Bigfoot movie is Demon Warp. You guys talked about it. This is First Time Mike saying goodnight. Bye. Nah, just kidding. There's more about that. I used to watch In Search of religiously back in the 80s when it was shown on repeats in syndication, and I love that show. And they have a In Search of Bigfoot. Look for it on YouTube, because I looked into the streaming services. I don't think anybody is streaming the original In Search of right now. Excuse me. And check it out, because the original episode, it's if you look up in YouTube In Search of Bigfoot, you'll be able to find the episodes. And that original episode scared the crap out of me as a kid, because it had the classic grainy footage of Bigfoot striding through the forest. Yeah. And impressionable, like 8-9-year-old me just thought that was all real. And hey, this world's amazing. We don't understand everything. It could still be out there. But yeah, if just to watch it, In Search of Bigfoot, 1977, classic Nimoy, a great show. It's the theme song that terrifies some people, but for me, that In Search of theme song was just a introduction to adventure. Another movie that I enjoy of the Bigfoots, it's a horrible movie, but it's so gleefully stupid and so well intentioned that I enjoy it immensely. It's called Suburban Sasquatch from 2004. It's bad computer CGI, just like subpar sci-fi films. And the Bigfoot costume is nothing more than a gorilla costume with big breasts attached to them, basically. It's about almost 2 hours long, a nonsensical plot. Arms get ripped off, cars get lifted up in just ridiculous computer animation that will make you laugh out loud just watching it. But for some reason, I really enjoy this movie. of a giant ape-looking Sasquatch just going around, running amok, as Michael Ravenshadow would say, and just ripping things apart. It's low budget at its finest level, and the acting is horrible, but it's a fun way to spend a little time. Suburban Sasquatch. Check it out. I'll post a picture of the monster in the film because it is as ridiculous as I'm describing. This is first time, Mike. Gonna go rest my voice now because as raspy cool as this sound, it's starting to get a little scratchy. So, wishing you all the best. Be safe, guys. I think of you guys every time. When I see you, that you guys are getting hit by the weather too. Be safe, everybody. This is your boy, First Time Mike from Wisconsin, saying good night. Bye.
I fucking love that guy.
Yeah.
He is so knowledgeable about everything. Whenever we bring up like a topic about like a subgenre of films, like he always fucking nails it. He knows the best ones. So
my former comedy troupe, Mr. Smartass Theater.
You did Suburban Sasquatch.
Did Suburban
right?
Sasquatch. Yeah,
I
it was
remember.
one of my favorites.
Yeah, so I don't think you've talked about it too much, or at least recently, but Mars used to do a kind of Mystery Science Theater-esque live show where you'd go to a club, watch the movie, they'd be sitting in front of the screen commenting on it, making jokes and stuff. So
yeah, with two very funny guys.
So yeah, I don't remember if I was at that one, but I remember you did it. So that was fun.
Talk of a reunion, and then one of us moved to Texas. So it's probably not gonna happen.
Oh, I keep forgetting you moved to Texas. That's like it just kind of happened. I didn't even know.
Well, like he told me on the way to Texas, so it wasn't.
Okay. Is he in Austin?
Yeah, just outside, I think. Yeah.
Well, maybe you can hang out with Jess Hagen.
Maybe.
maybe you can draw for her.
Yeah, it could.
Yep.
Well, draw for me. So lost that in the divorce.
Michael Ravenshadow. Every time you stepped away, First Time Mike mentioned you.
Oh damn it! I had to go upstairs for a minute.
I know you miss him talking about you. First Time Mike, get better, buddy. He sounds like the voice is a little rough, but
sounds off.
But get better, buddy. Ban? It was like ban.
Bam.
Yeah, get better, ban. All right, let's hear from our boy Carlitos.
Hey, Trick or Treat Radio, it's Carlitos. How you guys doing?
Good, buddy.
First off, I hope MZ's feeling better. I'm calling before the show, so I don't know if he's on the show this time or not, but if he is, I guess that viewing of Cannibal Holocaust made him feel better.
It's worked
There's
before.
nothing like a fresh viewing of Cannibal Holocaust to get the spirits up, right? Am I right, guys? But anyway, I hope he's feeling better. And I did not see this week's movie.
Go see it.
I didn't see last week's either. But I did see Polar, and that was good.
Velvet
I
Buzzsaw.
think Maz is what saves that film. He's just so damn cool in that movie, and it's kind of a badass. So yeah, I did like that. And I think the week before you guys reviewed Let Sleeping Corpses Tan, and I tried to watch that one, but it wasn't available on Amazon, which is my VOD place of choice.
Weird.
And I think the week before was Black Mirror Banana Finger Batch. Yeah, that one. I think that's the name of it, right? Yeah, that was really good too. And even though I didn't see this week's movie yet, I will see it. I guess the favorite Bigfoot movie. Does Demon Warp count? Yeah, Demon Warp counts, right? Show that more of that Demon Warp love.
Yeah, man.
Actually, the one that probably had more of an impact with me is let's give a shout out to Harry and the Hendersons.
That's what I was thinking, dude.
But that's about it. I haven't watched too many Bigfoot films other than those two, or other than that one actually. I think I did see that one found footage one, not the Bobcat Goldthwait one, but the other one. It Awaits, I think it's called, something like that. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I do remember it being pretty good. So that's it. got nothing else to talk about. Actually, there's a question I've been meaning to ask you. When I wanted to call in the previous weeks, but been too napping, if you know what I mean.
No.
There's a new Mortal Kombat game coming out, coming this April, and as been the case with the past few entries, they've been bringing in special guest fighters, usually horror icons, and they pretty much covered just about everybody in the slasher genre, you know, from Freddy to Leatherface, and then they added Predator and Alien. So my question is, what
leather balls?
What genre icon, I guess, would you like to see in the Mortal Kombat series? It doesn't have to specifically be horror. It could be anybody, you know, and you could guys do deep cuts. It don't even matter. There has been hints that maybe Spawn might show up in the new game, or people are hoping Ash from Evil Dead. There was even this stupid petition of trying to get Shaggy from Scooby-Doo in the game. I don't know how that caught on, but doesn't even make sense in any regards as far as I'm concerned. But they shot that down. He ain't gonna be in the game. But there's your question, and hope everything's good, and talk to you guys later. Bye.
All right, Carlos. Thanks, man. Interesting. I have seen the trailer for the new Mortal Kombat. It looks fucking awesome. So I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be horror, but
yeah, I mean, the last one had a pretty fucking cover. It had Jason,
Yeah.
Predator, and it also had like Kratos.
Great. Yep.
Um,
You know who I'm
only
gonna
played it twice.
Do you own it? Yeah. I'm gonna stick with horror, and this probably isn't the best pick because I couldn't see him going toe to toe with too many of these characters. Actually, I have two in mind. I'll wait and see if no one mentions the other one. I'll mention it at the end. But what about fucking Joe Spinell, Maniac, in a Mortal Kombat game? What kind of fucking moves would he do?
How about Maniac Cop?
Yeah, that's probably more likely. But
Zadar?
But yeah, I guess Joe Spinell would probably have the shotgun. That would be his big move. The other one I was gonna say, I'll just say it now, is Madman Mars.
I would like to see King from Tekken.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like
I doubt they would ever cross over, but that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, but I would also maybe Rambo or like a
Braddock.
Braddock.
Missing in Action. Chuck
Or
Norris.
Paul Kersey.
Yeah. But like a I think if you have Rambo.
Yeah.
Rambo would be an interesting one though, for
Yeah.
sure. Like if they did action stars, well, like what about Commando or like an Arnold character?
Well, that's the problem with like once you have one of them, like what is the how do you differentiate any of them? You know.
Well, true, yeah, but it'd just be just the different characters, I guess. But yeah, I know what you mean.
And you can't go Asian action because they've already done a proxy for all those. So
true.
Yeah, it's tough. Like they really didn't leave much on the table with that last one.
Well, didn't they have the Xenomorph as well? Was one of them?
Yep. I mean,
So-
Leatherface was fucking awesome. in that
Leatherface,
game.
yeah. Yeah, there's some cool ones. What about Pumpkinhead?
Mm-hmm.
Might be cool.
Just trying to think. I mean, it sucks because once you have Jason and Leatherface and Freddy over the course of 2 games, like anything else you have is going to be like looked at as like a down. Michael Myers, I guess, is pretty obvious because
Michael
of
Myers,
the
yeah.
bring back of Halloween being a thing. I mean the what's weird is there wasn't like
What about
really
Norman Bates?
masturbates. I mean, there's that game Terradrome, right? That like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can get. But I don't know, like it's I can't. Anyone I try to
Brundlefly.
anyone I try to book, like is like just so like fantasy football. Like you could have the Highlander. You know what I mean? Like
Sam Elliott.
Yes.
Just as himself.
who puts out? Isn't it a Warner Brothers joint?
Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe some sort of.
They could do a Warner Brothers crossover.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe some
So
sort of.
Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like maybe
Yosemite Sam.
Joker.
Has there been any DC crossover with Mortal Kombat? I can't
Oh,
remember.
yeah.
There was
that-
DC versus Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that's of course.
That was
yeah,
a precursor to Injustice.
Injustice, right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Injustice was much more violent, though.
Yeah, Injustice was fucking.
Yeah,
awesome.
'cause I think it was toned down, right? The Mortal Kombat versus
Yeah, it was
League.
bloodless.
Yeah.
I never got Injustice 2, but that had the fucking turtles.
That's good.
And it had
Yeah, I didn't get all.
Hellboy.
I didn't get all the bonus characters, the add-ons.
Neon
but-
Maniacs.
I know.
Yeah.
If we're I see
You
Neon
got a
Maniacs
random.
every single time I play organ. But
Hellboy's a good one.
yeah, well, he was in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Injustice.
Injustice, yeah.
But I mean, how about this? Even though he wasn't in Injustice, if we're doing Warner Brothers crossovers, what about like Lobo?
Yeah.
You know, like
What about
somebody
Harry
like-
Potter? That'd be fun, huh?
Mm.
I'm just kidding.
I think maybe Xena.
Yeah.
Xena?
Xena? Warrior
Yeah,
Princess?
Yeah.
By the way, I haven't got any further in the Harry Potter book than when we sat down and talked last. Might have hit a snag.
And you guys have any suggestions?
How about famous Saturday Night Live skits?
More
Samurai,
Wait, what was
Delicatessen?
like Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood versus versus It's Pat. Something like that.
Told you so. I told. Was that the song by Andy
No,
Kaufman?
I Trusted You.
I trusted you. That's it. I
Trusted
trusted you.
you.
I trusted you.
You apparently have never been. You haven't been to sound check in a while.
No, I haven't actually.
Land Shark.
That's got me. It's made some
Land
some people
Land Shark.
happy.
Candygram.
Candygram. You're a land
Finally,
shark.
fucking got the elusive Andy Kaufman action figure. I'm very happy.
Oh, nice.
Oh, awesome.
I don't know. What first came to mind was what always comes to my mind. But like I think Mars said, is already a proxy. I mean, was Wang from Big Trouble?
Yeah. Snake
It's
Plissken.
always comes.
Snake, yeah.
Snake would be
That's
cool.
the one that's been at my tongue.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
speaking of letting people down and not coming by, even now most of the staff at the place that you work at has come and seen me at my job, and you haven't.
I had that conversation today, actually.
Yeah, I know. I told him to tell
with,
you to go fuck yourself.
Man, you're just letting everyone down, Raven Shadow.
Well, it's consistent with the course. You know, I'm going to get out there. I have a gift card.
He'll get out there by like when Mars no longer works there or something, like
I
5
hear
years from now.
I hear it's very nice. It's very clean.
I'm sorry. The statement you just made. Everyone you work with has come out to see you where you work.
Everything he works with.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. That's bad.
I see him every week.
Yeah, but
So
you
do
haven't
most of them see me on the same day.
You haven't visited his store, man.
I told you. I gotta
You
figure
can
out-
support.
They got some nice stuff in there.
He
Do you
never
know how to
came
get-
into
do you know how to get there?
Dynamos unless I booked him.
What's that?
Do you know how to get there?
I forget. Remember I told you. I forget.
The mall. You don't remember to get to the mall?
I haven't been there in a while. Jesus. I think I know. Maybe we'll go this weekend.
You know.
Yeah,
you need
I'm
some
in Atlantic
shoes.
City, asshole.
I'm taking a picture.
Yeah, you go without him. Yeah. All right, so I think that was all the questions, right?
Anthony's came and saw me.
Oh, and I did want to mention that
Yeah, it was-
though it was
Everyone here.
Shut up! I'm talking. It was a rumor and shot down the whole Shaggy thing. I would love to see that, and like, he's a playable character, but can't really do anything except for get his ass kicked.
Well, Shaggy's like,
What's this fucking Shaggy thing? Did I miss a fucking meeting? What?
yeah, it's like the latest internet thing. Like he's like everyone is trying to get him in like everything.
But what's about he's Jesus or something, or he's the son of God? There's all kinds of weird fucking things.
You can find a million different Shaggy things on the internet right now.
Why?
I don't know.
Why not? Because he's
Just-
Shaggy.
It just happened. How else do things happen on the internet, Raven Shadow?
I don't know.
See, I don't even know anything about that. Just the idea of having a playable character that pretty much just gets his ass kicked is hysterical to me.
I'm on the Mortal Kombat. It wasn't me.
Thank you,
I'm
thank
on
you.
its own
Say
bat. It
Officer
wasn't me.
Zed from Police
That's a
Academy.
good one.
Fuck that
That's
high
good
tower.
one. Yeah.
You do that scream like Shiva does in the
Browser,
game.
browser.
How about Dynamite?
That's a good one.
All right, now we're reaching.
Oh man, fucking Shaggy's okay, but goddamn, we have the fucking robot dog that can fuck people up.
Blue Falcon.
I mean,
love Blue
you know,
Falcon.
obvious one is the Terminator, but I feel like again they already have like a kind of Terminator proxy in the game. Like they
Yeah.
already have their own cyborg. But I'd like to see any other fighting like character, you know, from any of the fighting games. I mean, again, like like most of the Street Fighter and Tekken guys are already kind of represented in their sort of proxy.
Yeah.
But like
Oscar
King,
the Grouch.
Santos.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, Santo.
Oh yeah.
Got awesome fucking luchador figures at my store. Raven Shadow didn't see them.
That's too bad.
Timbalas. I got a Timbalis figure.
You got who?
Timbalis.
Tinbalis.
Yeah.
Tiniabalis.
Tiamblis and his little.
Remember
fucking
Andrea
friend.
Subasati fucking schooled you on it?
She can.
Super Sonic.
She's a fucking editor in something or other.
Something or other.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm sorry. I hate when I fall back into my gimmick. After Michael Ray
Room
Shadow
Morgue
has adopted it
Room
so
Morgue
comfortably.
magazine. I also saw
No, but
that
she has like a title, right? Editor.
Editor-in-chief, I think.
No, I think there's some fucking cool.
Supreme Commander.
Some fucking cool thing.
Master of the Universe.
Sorry.
Omega Supreme.
All right, me and Monsters are out to go.
Yeah, let's.
Well,
let's move
you
this.
guys are
I know,
fucking
it's hot.
talking.
Just trying to think of Mortal Kombat.
All the jibba jabba.
All right, well, just move on to the next.
She is the executive editor at Rear Morgue. There you go.
Bub the Zombie, you can have like a gun that he's like just fucking shooting.
All right, let's hear from Evil Corny.
How about Jaws?
Hey guys, this is Evil Corny. I didn't get to see the movie this week, but I was pretty much just calling to thank Marion for sending my shit. I mean, liberating my shit from Raven Shadow's house.
Yep.
One or two of those things I pretty much forgot that I had purchased, but it was a surprise to me, to see everything. The other thing I'm calling about is I saw where Mars saw Fast and Furious 8.
Baby.
And
thank you, Corny.
I just think that movie's badass. I wonder what Mars's thoughts are on it, and also what Mars thinks about the Hobbs and Shaw movie, with The Rock and Jason Statham. This is Evil Corny, and I live my life a quarter mile at a time. Evil Corny out. What up, Wolfie?
Yeah.
Wolfie.
So what do you think, Mars?
Wolfie.
Yeah.
It was so good. It
What?
was so
What
fucking
was so good?
Fate of the Furious. They were fucking racing on the ice,
Oh my
and a submarine
God.
was chasing them, breaking through the ice. Oh,
Here we go.
It was so fucking good. And The Rock said he was gonna beat on Jason Statham like a Cherokee drum. Like you can't say that. Like you can't. It was so fucking good. And The Rock also made like a cock holster type joke, which is totally inappropriate. But
Cock holster
it
joke.
reminded me of Monster Zero, so I like that. Oh man, they fucking raced the submarine, a nuclear submarine, and Charlize Theron was like a fucking foxy. Oh man, I was like.
You said you wanted to go, right?
Sorry, I was so.
Because if you start with this, you're not going to finish.
Remind me at the
he's gonna
beginning.
finish
next
all
week.
right.
Yeah.
What was it? Fast.
Fate of the Furious, or Fast and Furious 8.
Now, we asked you before, which is the one to start with the new
5. You said 5.
I'd say
All right.
5.
All right, I liked 1.
But 6 is where it's completely off the fucking. And then
Don't say reservation.
Yeah, and then 7 fucking. Vin Diesel fucking stomps a parking garage and it fucking falls on Jason
Okay, don't we have another voicemail?
No.
Yes, we do.
We do?
Vin
Yeah, one
Diesel.
more.
Jesus.
We got one more from our boy Mars's boy and all of our boy, Pabst.
Oh, I made it with my sperm.
Hey guys, it's Paps. Just calling in this week. I just finished watching The Man Who Killed Hitler and then The
Yeah.
Bigfoot, and I fucking loved that
Yeah,
movie.
Pabst.
With a name like that, this movie had a lot more fucking heart than I thought it would. I was very, very, very entertained by it. With a name like that, it's pretty fucking straightforward what the premise is, but it was awesome. Sam Elliott was so good. Yeah, really, really, really enjoyed this one. Definite treat. Fucking loved this movie. And I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys think. All right. Fuck, I got nothing. No questions. But I hope you guys have a good night and peace.
It's like you knew.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is actually I want to ask, since MZ wasn't here last week, Pabst asked a question for all of us. He had one question for each of us, and you weren't here to answer your question. If I'm remembering, and maybe you guys can help me out, it was something like, what is your most influential grindhouse exploitation film? Was that it, Mars? Something like that. What was the one? Ah, man. Something like that. The first or the most influential grindhouse / exploitation film.
That got him into the genre.
Yeah, it got you into it. What was the one?
Oh, what was the one that got me into it?
Yeah, yeah.
When I think back on it, I would probably have to say Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh yeah. It was the horror. It was the thing that made him love horror because I remember I said it was Popeye that had him see the Friday the 13th.
Yeah, but that's not Grindhouse.
Well, I don't think that. I don't. Think
I might have
Grindhouse was actually in
misremembered
the
the
thing.
question. I could pull it up.
No.
No. We'll just go with what got you into horror.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
okay.
If it's what got me into horror, then it would be going to see Popeye.
I thought it was something different though because I guessed.
No, I think it was
to see Friday the 13th.
It was It was something.
It wasn't
sleazy.
Grindhouse because I said I
I'm
wouldn't
gonna
have
go
said
to the
what I
fucking
said.
tape then. I'm gonna go to the
I
fucking
see
tape.
when you agree and you agree, it means one thing that I'm fucking right.
From an individual character or something along I've read. I know you tend to read a little bit more than some of the other guys. What is your favorite book that you have read? Aries, your favorite comic movie? So yeah, definitely,
great.
definitely want to
Great
know
radio,
that.
but-
And then MZ, if you could fuck one of the Transformers, who would it be? And you're not allowed to say RC.
Chromia.
All
What
right.
did you
there-
say? What did you say?
Chromia.
I'm just kidding.
Ironhide.
No, what I want to know from MZ is what is the horror or exploitation movie that really, really got you into the genre as a whole? Like, what was that kind of catalyst movie for you that kind of made you dive in headfirst into the genre? All right, guys.
All right, there you go.
All right, so it's an exploitation flick.
That really got you into it.
It would still be Texas Chainsaw
All right.
Massacre.
Mars guessed Cannibal Holocaust. No,
I said he
No,
went
you
and saw
did.
Popeye and he saw the Friday.
Do you want to go to the
trailer.
tape? I just listened to it.
Oh, fuck the tape. Come on.
Because
let's
I,
get moving.
I said Salo or,
You did say Salo.
and by the way, MZ, when did you first see Salo?
Yeah, that was.
I saw Salo first time, I think, in 96.
Okay, so pre-internet.
I might have saw Cannibal Holocaust said, but I know I mentioned that he went and saw Popeye, and that's how he saw the.
Oh yeah,
Friday
I
13th
do.
trailer.
I know you did. Yeah, but you did say that. You said, "Oh, it's probably Cannibal Holocaust." So I guess Salo or I can't remember what the other one. I guess.
I mean, if we're talking about Grindhouse films.
I Spit on Your Grave was the other one.
Right.
I mean,
because I
could be Cannibal Holocaust, could be Salo, could be I Spit on Your Grave, could be.
Those are all ones you love.
Yeah.
I mean, all those films had to be something that you were like fucking engaged by.
Eaten Alive.
Engaged
Maniac.
by conceptually, right? Because a lot of that stuff wasn't easy to come by.
Sure.
Couldn't get Salo at Blockbuster.
MZ, did you have Salo on Laserdisc?
I did.
I knew it because like when we first started hanging out or when we first met, you fucking showed it to me. You're like, "Have you seen this movie?" And I'm like, "No." You're like, "You got to see it." At the time, I was like 17 or 18 or something. You're like, "You got to see Salo."
You still haven't seen it yet, have you?
I haven't. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think it's time.
Am I man enough to see it?
I'm not watching it.
So, all right.
All right.
I gotta do a poopy.
Let's go.
Jesus Christ. Which one? Got to go or got to do a poopy?
Well, I would think that those things are mutually exclusive.
All right, so yeah, that's gonna do it. So thanks to everyone who sent in some feedback. As always, we appreciate it. Let's go around the room and have everyone say their goodbyes. MZ. Aries.
I'll see you next week.
That's a good one. Raven Shadow.
Live fast, love hard, die with your mask on.
Mars Man.
We are all books of blood. When we're open, we're red.
Is that a new one?
Not. I feel like I'm a victim of gimmick infringement, so now I gotta mix it up.
Gimmick infringement.
Mhm.
342 episodes.
So you're gonna steal someone else's line?
Right.
Steal
Not for
someone
nothing.
another time. You're stealing.
Well, the other one's an Irish proverb. I didn't fucking take it from a comic or a movie, but what happens?
Remember, children, wherever you go, there you are.
Well, because then in a few months, a few episodes down the line, everybody's gonna have a different catchphrase after.
Excuse me. I don't have a fucking
I know.
catchphrase.
You're the fucking.
I don't have a catchphrase either.
You don't. I know. You're like Sam Elliott.
So Mars and I are going to hit the road this weekend.
I can't wait.
We're heading down to Atlantic City to hang out with Coop and Jakey.
Hard traveling heroes.
Yeah, you want to go, Raven Shadow?
What time?
all day Saturday.
Good.
and
Let's
Sunday.
end the show so you guys get moving, okay?
Well, I do love when you drive, Johnny. You know this.
Yeah, you do love carpool.
I know that's good. That's quite a carpool too. You'll do good.
Everyone's fucking leaving. All right. So we big thanks to Jess Hageman.
She was awesome.
Hageman.
Buy that book.
Hageman. Jess Hageman. Sorry, I keep doubting myself now. Yeah. Jess Hageman. She was fucking awesome, and it's super cool book. Everyone should go check it out. And buy it on Amazon. We're gonna post the link in our feed. So check that out. Thank you to everyone who hung out for the live show, everyone who sent in feedback, and everyone's going to check out the podcast. We appreciate it. So from all of us at Castle Wolfenstein, we'll see you guys next week.